Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. The very next day you gave it away. Ultimately, I feel it was beneficial to us both.
Welcome to The Anomaly, the contradistinct, uncensored, unmonetizable, and deemed unwatchable by the mainstream masses. We are the ones they cannot control and attempt to hold back, but together we form revolution. The Ramborgia. Welcome to John Rambo Presents the Show. Stay ballsy. Don't take any shit from anyone.
So as we approach the 200th episode of John Rambo Presents the Show, I find myself sitting in a relaxing position, of course, and asking the tough questions, like what exactly is it that John Rambo has presented for so long? If I had to boil it down, OJ, boil it down. Do you like that phrase? Boil it. What does that mean? Boil it down.
To remove everything, just to get rid of the water, the fluff, and just go take it straight down to the meat, to the important part.
So you
increase the
boil it?
concentration of the solution.
You boil it and you find the truth within the boil, after the boil, the heat.
Either that or a bunch of scum at the bottom of the pot in my case, but yeah.
Okay. Do you boil a lot of things?
I'm pretty lame when it comes to cooking, so that's one of the easier methods of cooking food.
Like pasta? That's
Actually, I don't cook. You can boil pasta, yeah. Yeah, I usually don't because I'm
what
bad.
What do you do? You just don't eat it? Pasta?
Yeah, not that much.
Okay. How would you make pasta, though? Would you boil it down?
Oh, I'd boil it.
So what is the truth that you find once the pasta is boiled?
I'm not that good at boiling pasta.
You're like, oh, this is not a hard thing I cannot chew. It is a soft, delectable dish.
A morsel, perhaps.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So when I boil it down, I think what I've presented is what is interesting to me. You think that's accurate?
Yeah.
Not what's interesting to the viewer, but to me.
Yeah. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I think it's like you're not catering intentionally towards people. You're doing what you want to talk about. This is presenting what you want to present. The
show is made for me mostly. It's a show that I want to see. I'm the only one.
No one else is going to make it, so someone's got to.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So, thinking about it some more, there's one thing or person that I presented more than anything else. If I do the proper algebra, and I always do, it must mean that I find him more interesting than anything else, because he's here more than anything. That is, of course, OJ, who we're now talking to.
Hi.
And I think this show, if anything else, for all these years has been me saying like, look at this guy. I think he's great.
Aww.
And perhaps you will as well, and you should, It's like this Barnum movie's coming out, the P.T. Barnum movie.
Yeah, like The Great Showman or something.
Look at these freaks, the bearded woman. That's what I do with those. No, it's not like.
Hey, I'm not bearded.
No, it's if anything, it's. It's like you go and get a nice coat, like this really nice coat.
Okay.
And you have like an event to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I'm going to wear the coat so everyone knows I'm great. So what I do is I have this friend, OJ, and I present him to people. I carry him around. Well, I wouldn't be able to carry you. I get on your back and I make you walk me around. And I go, look what I have. Aren't you jealous of me?
Oh, you're going to kill me here.
I know, this isn't working out. But it's just, basically I presented...
It's not working out, man.
I presented OJ more than anything. I think OJ is great. I want to share OJ with the world. That's what I'm trying to say. I want everyone to fill their bellies with OJ.
Well, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think people could fill their bellies with you too.
All right, so it pains me to tell you all that OJ's been traveling a bit of a rough road as of late.
Mm.
Would you like to speak now? And
Or forever hold my peace?
well, you don't have to. Be very strange just to be like, no, I have nothing to say, and then we have to move on.
No.
What do you have to tell us about what's happening?
That would actually be pretty funny.
Let's go back as far as you possibly can with this. You don't have to get into super detail, but I don't know. Where do you want? Go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, preface all this stuff. There's nothing dire going on. So anyone who's like, oh gosh, is OJ really sick or is OJ really ill? Don't worry about it. I'm okay. We good. We're good.
Are you just saying that?
What?
Are you just saying that, or is that true?
No, it's true. I'm all right. And make
good.
sure that's flat out before anyone gets worried or anything.
Right.
But honestly, this stuff started happening. We started noticing things. That was July. So I don't remember when it was that I scheduled a physical with my doctor. But soon I had my physical and my doctor, and then the doctor did some stuff, and he came back to me and said, "Hey, you're a young guy, but we need to check out some stuff. I'm going to send you to a cardiologist, and he's going to run some tests, and then you'll go on from there." I'm like, "Okay, am I okay?" He's like, "Yeah, just go to the cardiologist."
He talks like that?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't talk like that.
Just stop going to this doctor.
Yeah. No, he's cool. He's cool. Right. But so that was probably like in July or maybe even June.
Okay.
Then we get to July, and I've got the timing down here because we've got my friend's birthday party. Bear with me. So I go to the cardiologist, and he says, "Hey, yeah," and he does a couple tests, and he says, "All right, well, here's the deal. We're gonna shave your chest, and we're gonna stick a heart monitor on you for 2 weeks, and we're gonna come back from there." I'm like, okay.
So you basically go in there, you don't know what's going on, and he's like, you have to wear this apparatus for weeks.
Yep.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. It's stuck to my chest. It was stuck to my chest on roller coasters.
So you come out a man, you leave a cyborg.
Yeah, basically.
And was that annoying? Like just the thought of this? Like, I have to wear this thing now.
Yeah. I was worried it was going to fall off, but apparently the company that makes it, the glue, whatever they put on there, is awesome. And if it starts coming loose, this is really funny. You've seen Kung Pao Enter the Fist, right?
Oh, of course.
You know the scene where the old man finds Ling's father and then he's like cupping his chest and like rubbing it really hard?
Okay.
If you do that to the glue, the glue becomes malleable and pliable again, and then you can restick it.
Did they tell you this? You figured this out?
They told me this. And it started coming loose, and I called the company, and they're like, "Didn't you read the instructions?"
Like, didn't you watch the YouTube tutorial?
I know, right? And they were like, "Yeah, if you just rub it, it'll go soft and stick again." Yeah.
Okay.
So if you rub it, it becomes sticky, basically. So yeah, I had to do that a couple times, and so okay, I worked for 2 weeks. During that was my friend's birthday party at Six Flags, where I was trying to keep this on the down low because the thing was small enough you wouldn't necessarily notice it sticking out of my shirts unless you were really paying attention. And my friends were like, "All right, we're going to spend the first half of the day at the water park." I'm like, you guys have fun.
You got like the Tony Stark glowing orb in your chest.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, it was pretty funny. They all went to the water park, and I just walked the entire length of Six Flags New England. Like, I went pretty much everywhere. It was actually cool. Like, I think the Flash at the Hall of Justice felt bad for me because, like, there's this dude walking in alone at the Hall of Justice, which looks like it's straight out of the 70s and hasn't been upgraded. It has, like, a Dell keyboard in the middle. Like, I'm not even kidding. They couldn't even buy a fancier-looking keyboard. Regardless. Yeah, pretty much. And, okay, so, whatever. I actually have the printouts from like the entire 2 week period. I really want to see what it looks like when I'm on the roller coaster. I have to go find that.
Yeah, they question that?
I mentioned it to him. Like, no, you're fine. We had 2 weeks of data. You're good.
What?
So
It seems like a weird combination, like to go there with a heart monitor.
Yeah, because if you have a heart condition or something, you're not supposed to go on rides. But the doctors told me I could do it.
Oh, you asked about this?
Of course I asked about it. I'm a paranoid android.
All right.
So
what was the roller coaster you went on?
Superman, Ride of Steel.
Did you specifically ask if that ride was okay?
No, but it was the only one.
How did you phrase it?
I just said, "Hey, I'm going to Six Flags. Is that going to be okay?" Yeah, just make sure the thing doesn't fall off. It should be fine. I'm like, okay, sure.
You should have been like really annoying and sent them like pictures of the ride with the specs and how many G's your body goes.
The sad thing is, they had specs there, like the height of the ride and other stuff. Gosh.
I've had people do that too.
Nice.
There's probably people worse than you.
Oh, I should hope. I hope not, and I hope so.
I mean, I'd be surprised, but it's possible.
Thank you. I think.
Okay.
So this is July. So we come back. Oh, and meanwhile, the doctor says, here, start taking this medicine. It has these side effects. And start taking it immediately. And, okay, sure. So I start taking this medicine, which I have been taking every day ever since.
For a long time.
I hate taking medicine. I mean, I'll do it, but I'd rather not. It kind of bothers me.
Does it have a taste?
No, thankfully. It's a tiny little pill.
Sometimes pills have tastes. Have you experienced that before?
With like vitamins, like big ones, like big Honkin ones.
Yeah, those especially.
Or if the pill's in your mouth for too long before your water's ready, it's like, yeah.
Before your water is ready, before it's boiled.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you boil it down.
Actually, this morning I was taking my medicine. I accidentally yesterday morning, I accidentally bit one of the pills, and it like split. I'm like, why?
You spit it out. You swallowed it.
I swallowed it.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah. So this is July. I've been taking medicine, and I go back to the doctor, and the doctor says, you should go see this other doctor now. And I go see this other doctor, schedule an appointment, and she's got like rave reviews on the internets and all that jazz, which is good. And I see the doctor, and she says, "Oh, well, we'll do some tests here." She does some tests, and like I got like all sorts of things done, bunch of different tests, and she says, "Okay, so here's the deal. You have 3 options. You can do nothing."
Really?
Yup.
That's allowed.
It's allowed. You can do nothing.
Uh-huh.
You can take medicine for the rest of your life, or you can have a procedure done that for you I'd give a really high percentage of the chances of it being successful and you being fine. Like not having to worry about this anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And then she starts describing the procedure.
Yeah.
And I don't do well with doctors and hospitals and medical stuff.
Right.
Especially anything even remotely involving the circulatory system.
Yeah.
So the doctor's explaining this to me. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel faint. And I'm like, is this because of the heart condition? She says, no, this is a vasovagal response. I get them too. I'm like, okay.
So she went to like real detail about what goes on.
She didn't even get that far.
Whoa.
But
do you even need to know, really?
At that point, I'm like, okay. And she's like, look, this is what I recommend. You should get this procedure. Like, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to be on medicine forever. I don't want that. These side effects are irritating.
And if you do nothing, what does that occur?
Increased risk of potentially fatal ailments.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, like, I don't know how much of a risk, but
yeah,
if you could decrease it, that would be nice. Thanks.
Stuff you don't want hanging over your head.
Uh-huh.
Basically.
So,
a black cloud to follow you.
Mm-hmm. So I talk with the doctor. I think I see her like twice. Oh yeah, I see her. I'm like, I can't decide right now. I really need to think about this. She's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I come back to see her, and she's like, "Have you decided? Like, can we schedule one?"
Was she hoping for one or the other, or she was kind of like she was okay with anything?
She was preferring. She. I think she thought that since I was so young, taking medicine with side effects would be bad.
Uh huh.
But she
just wanted to get you on that table
first.
Start cutting you up.
Yeah, right. So,
So you decided to go for it.
I decided to go for it, and she's like, "Cool, can we schedule something?" And I'm like, "Well, no." Before we decided to go, I came back before. Wait, hold up. No, dude, I'm describing it wrong. Before we actually, I went back to see her and hadn't decided, and she's like, "Oh, really?" So we talked about it more, and I admitted that I'd really like to get a second opinion beforehand because this is involving my heart.
She's got her like back turned to you, and she's like sharpening blades as you're like, "Have you decided?" And she like looks over her shoulder.
And that you just see the reflection of the knives
as the door locks.
Yeah, right.
We could do it right now.
I'm free all afternoon.
I'll do a great job, I promise.
So she says, "Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, here, I recommend you see one of these two guys." So I'm like, okay, I leave. I schedule an appointment with the other guy, with one of the two guys up at Yale. Like New Haven, and
the Ivy League.
Yeah, and this is now it's October, and it is like scheduled for the week before I go to Japan.
The doctor's appointment.
Oh, okay. Not just that. I also have a sleep study.
All right, now
that I also scheduled because apparently
the story's becoming confusing.
Sorry, I forgot that they also scheduled a sleep study to make sure I didn't have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
So
basically, they're like, you're a complete disaster.
Yeah,
we're just going to do everything we can, every test possible.
Yeah, so get this. I have a hope sleep study, and I do it. And 4 days before my trip, they call me back and say, "Okay, we didn't record any data. You have to do it again." Like, are you kidding me?
So what, it wasn't successful? They couldn't get a good read?
No, they got no data because apparently I hooked it up wrong. So we go back. So, and this is 4 days, okay, this is like the Thursday before my trip, which starts on a Tuesday. My other doctor appointment's on like a Friday or a Monday. The Monday before my trip is my other doctor's appointment. They're like, "We can give you another sleep study on Monday." And I'm like, "That is the day before I fly to Tokyo." "Okay, we can schedule it for you 3 weeks in a month." Like, fine. So you schedule another one like a month out. I go see the second opinion doctor, and this dude, like my first doctor was really cool and did great jobs explaining stuff despite my tendency to faint.
Yeah.
Which I didn't faint. I did not faint. Haha. But this doctor, he's pretty cool. And I go see him, and he says, "Oh, okay." So he walks into the room, says, "Okay, blah, 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 an assistant the nurse." Sorry, I'm stepping ahead of myself.
Whoa.
The nurse leads me to the doctor's, the office I'm going to see the doctor in. And she says, "Here, the doctor would like you to have this," and hands me a 10-page packet. Like, that looks like was typed up by him or somebody. Like, it's not a professional packet. Like, this is like the office itself looks like it produced this packet talking about the procedure, what's wrong, like what could be like the different types of things that they could fix this procedure, the procedure itself, and all like, and in detail exactly what they do to fix it, the risks, everything.
Did
super
you read this
detailed. Yeah, I had like 20 minutes till the doctor came by, so I read the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little woozy, but I was okay. I was doing better than I was the last time.
No pictures?
No pictures, but after I spoke with the doctor for a while, and he's like, "Oh, I know your doctor. Yeah, I worked with her when I was at school. She was my not an advisor, but like a senior role."
It's like we dated. Then we became rivals later on.
But he drew out a picture of my heart, what they'd have to do.
He drew it?
Yeah, on the back of the packet.
Like a comic?
Yeah, I have actually, honest to goodness, have the packet here.
You mean like a heart comic? He has like speech bubbles coming out of it?
No, it's speech bubbles, just
I am ill.
Dots and circles and stuff.
Okay.
So hardcore, and this is now like mid-October, and I talk with him. He says, "Okay." I'm like, "Well, what do you think I should do?" He's like, "I'm not going to tell you what I think you should do.
Wow.
I'm good. You should decide this." I'm like, "Okay, well, I think I should get it done." And he says, "I agree."
What the hell?
Okay. Something like that. It went something like, I don't know, man.
He drew some apples and... Some fruit baskets.
Either way, you know what the funny thing is? I'm at the doctor's for like heart problems.
Yeah.
You know what I did immediately afterward?
What did you
I
do?
met my friend at Frank Pepe's for pizza.
Come on, man. You went to Six Flags with the heart monitor and you're eating pizza after this guy.
Oh, pepperoni and salami and bacon, my friend. Or prosciutto and
Why are you
bacon.
doing this to yourself?
Because it was zickin' delicious, and if I'm going to die in an airplane crash, I want pizza first, because I was honest to goodness worried about that.
You try to kill yourself before the plane takes off, then you have no chance of dying on the plane. It's wonderful.
See, it's a flawless plan. Okay.
Do you think this doctor would draw you during the procedure if you had asked him?
Like,
could you draw me while I'm in the room?
That would have been pretty funny. But, so, okay.
I love how you throw that in. I went to, the arrogance.
I know.
You want everyone to know this.
Sorry.
I had no fear. All right, go ahead.
So the sad thing is, the whole time we're in Japan, I made the mistake of, I think my friends I was with asked why I was taking medicine or something. So I made the mistake of telling them, oh, I got a thing with my heart that they're going to fix.
They noticed you.
And so when we went to
what were you doing?
They asked about it or something, or
was there like a syringe?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember what it was. Maybe it was me saying, man, this stinks. I can't drink that much, because I was annoyed because because we're out and I wanted to have some sake and whatever. But regardless, so we went to a VR experience, and they're like, John, look, you're not supposed to do this if you have a heart condition. I'm like, flags. The doctor said I could do whatever I wanted. The doctor said I could exercise. We're fine, please. I get it. They were just trying to be nice and make sure I knew. But yeah, so there's that. I come home and I call the doctor. I'm like, okay, I think I'd like to get this procedure done. And the nurse is like, cool, we can schedule it right now. I'm like, what?
Yeah, she's ready.
You don't even have to come in. You don't have to come in. You can just schedule it. Like, oh, okay. So they're like, well, that's fine. You can schedule it now, and we'll get you set. I'm like, okay. So we scheduled some stuff. We scheduled the date, which was going to be the Monday the Monday after Thanksgiving, November 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked with her and I said, oh, by the way, I have to go back to pick up a home sleep study again. So I'm going to be at the hospital. She's like, good, you should stop by just in case we have any more questions for you or anything. So I'm like, okay. So that like later that week, I got my sleep study was rescheduled. I'm at the hospital. I go get my sleep equipment, and then I walk back to the office, and the nurse person or the administrator is like, oh, cool. Good. So while you're here, in case we're going to schedule for this, here's what you need to do to prepare. I'm like, okay. And now we're going to send you downstairs to the blood lab, and we're going to draw some blood to test some stuff out before we do the procedure. Like, God damn it. So they got to draw my blood, and and here's the thing that really gets me.
Yeah.
Where my primary care physician is, if they draw blood, they have these nice reclining chairs, because if I'm sitting upright when they draw blood, I have a tendency to get very woozy and almost pass out.
All right, so let's hit the brakes for a second. So, because some people are going to be like, oh, what's the big deal? You're going, you get blood drawn, whatever, right? But you have to consider that for OJ, like, everyone has like something, like a fear, maybe like a deep fear.
Yeah.
Whether you want to admit it or not, there's something that, or just something that bothers you to think about. So for OJ, it's all this kind of stuff, like all this kind of medical stuff, getting, invasive things done to you. It's not your favorite thing.
Yeah.
Even just, like you said, like even just reading about it or hearing about it, will make him pass out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't passed out in like literally years.
Yeah. So for you to be willing to go through with the procedure and then to go through all of this, it's like basically like facing the last thing you'd ever want to do, you know?
Yeah.
So what's the story of when you passed out last time?
The last time I passed
Well,
out.
what's the one where with your father and all that stuff at the hospital?
Okay.
Tell that story.
So,
Just people get a kind of an idea of what's going on.
Okay, this was back in I was in college. I was working at Dunkin' Donuts for the summer, and my dad was having some foot problems. It was infected, and it wasn't getting cured. Every now and then it would come back. We'd think it was fine. It would stop. So I just worked a what is it? A 3 p.m. till 11 p.m. shift at Dunkin' Donuts, like 3 p.m. to close. And I hadn't gotten to eat anything like all day. I was starving. The big day had just been insane. So I haven't eaten anything since what, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, like stupidly long. I think I had a lunch break or a dinner break, but I don't know if I ever got to use it because it was nuts. So it's 11, 12 o'clock, and I get home and I'm like, all right, it's been a long day. I need to eat something. Let's do the smart thing. I'm going to make myself a sundae. And I make myself this big sundae, and I'm about to eat the first thing in almost 12 hours. My mom says, John, I have work tomorrow, but you need to drive your dad to the hospital. His foot's acting up again. So I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I could do this. Like, I put the sundae in the fridge with a tear in my eye, which was really sad because I just put the whipped cream on it. Whipped cream doesn't last very long in the fridge. Fine, dang it. No, it is important to the story. It is important to the story.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because the thing is, I've eaten nothing.
Yeah.
All right? I've eaten nothing. My body has no fuel. So I drive my dad to the hospital. I park. I come in. We're at the emergency room. The nurse is looking at his foot, and she's like, oh, this is bad. So we're going to need to put in an IV. And she starts discussing in detail the process of putting an IV in my father. And I wasn't feeling great to begin with, but she starts talking, and I start feeling woozy. I fall backwards. I don't know if I hit my head or what, and I'm out. I wake up again. I'm in a hospital bed in a hospital room alone with an IV in my arm.
How many hours did you wake up? It was like a long time?
A long time, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I just woke up like, the frell? I need to be at work today. And, oh, gosh. Yeah, and the worst part was my mom worked at the hospital.
Yeah.
So she heard... So if one of her friends was talking with her, it's like, Kathy, did you hear? What? Somebody brought their dad into the ER, and then they both got admitted. And she's like, wait, what? When? Oh, no. So on her break, she comes over. She walks to the room, or maybe she calls, and she's just like, hi. That was so embarrassing. They kept me overnight because they were scared I was on drugs.
Like no one's ever passed out just hearing about IVs before.
It was because my potassium was low.
But for like, I just want to give people some context of like, this is stuff you don't enjoy.
No,
like,
I hate it.
We talk about it many times. Like OJ hates bees.
Yep.
Because they could sting you. Right?
They have needles. They're flying needles. So
OJ has like irrational fear of bees. So just imagine what it's like to to go through all of this. So it'd be like if you're afraid of like insects, and someone's like, "I'm going to shovel insects into your mouth."
Ugh.
Repeatedly for hours.
Oh gosh, Fear Factor, what?
Oh, yeah. Or I'm going to make you watch Fear Factor.
Ugh, no, please.
Bad television shows. So I'm just trying to give you, just for some context of like what's happening here,
Yeah.
All right, so continue. So you had to go get some blood drawn.
So I had to go get some blood drawn, and when I go get blood drawn from my regular doctor, the chairs recline so that you can at least be somewhat, relaxed. Here, you have to sit like bolt upright. I'm like, wait. This is the brand new hospital. This is brand new, and you don't have reclining chairs? Like, is there anywhere I can go to lie down for this? I'm like, no.
What is this, a torture chamber?
Yeah, right? I'm like, thankfully, like, this took less time than any other blood draw I've ever had. Like,
get this guy out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. So they did that, and then that was it. And then it was just a countdown.
This is the Christmas show, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Merry Christmas! We got the red. Let's wait to talk about the green.
Oh, no. Well, where does that come from?
I don't know.
So now we have the thing scheduled out, right?
Yup. Mm-hmm.
How do I come into the fray here?
Because you, sir, are a man of honor and valor. You just say, you're getting the procedure done, I will drive you. I would be honored to drive you. I'm like, seriously, dude? He's like, yeah, I got this.
So OJ had informed me pretty much early on what was going on. And it was kind of weighing on me, and I was like, I got to get involved somehow. I have to make this about me. No, so yeah, I was like, all right, when do we have to go? And you had the thing scheduled out.
Mm-hmm. 6:30 in the morning.
Either 6:30 in the morning, so I was like, all right, well, I could come from my house, and then we go from there. I'll pick you up, and I'm going to have to leave my house like 3 or something, so we just decided I'll come over and stay over. But it was kind of a different thing, 'cause usually if I come and stay over or come and hang out, it's like we're doing fun stuff.
Yeah.
And which is basically how it's always been.
Yep.
So it's kind of a different feel to it.
Very.
It was like, we're coming to bring John to the hospital. How do I go about? What do I do? What do I say? What do I do? I don't know how you were going to be when I got there.
Yeah.
I have to say, when I got to your house, you were in great spirits. I had no idea what to expect. He was very positive, and he was kind of like accepting of what's going on, even though I knew it was the last thing he ever wanted to have happen,
Yeah. I mean, I was more resigned, I think. Just like, I was just, as soon as the doctor said I might have to get something done, I was just like, this is my fate. It's going to have to happen.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So it was not a facade. It was a ruse. You were actually feeling pretty decent at that point when I got there?
I was feeling okay. Yeah, I was feeling okay. It was just kind of like, this is going to happen. There's nothing else I can do, so I'll just try to roll with it as best I can.
I just kept telling you it's going to be fine, and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Dude, you said everything. You did everything you needed to.
So it seems like everything's fine with John, but then we were talking, and we're just we're not really focusing on that. We're talking about other stuff. Then he's just like, they called me and asked if I had a will.
Yeah,
so I go, what? And he goes, yeah, they suggested I make a will in case something happens. So like everything was fine, but there were these like breaks in the conversations where things would get dark for a second,
Yeah, dude, it was very awkward because I wrote one up, man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. So he's like, they told me to make a will. I'm like, what do you mean? He's, yeah, I did it this morning, whatever. Typed it up, and I hid it in my room, and I'm gonna show you where it is in case you have to go and get it. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. I'm like, I don't want to know where it is. Like, you're gonna be fine because I wouldn't accept that something would happen. So he's like, okay. And then later on, he just tells me, because I refuse to go look. He's like, it's under this and over there and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, do you remember what I said? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
I refuse to know where it is. So
thanks.
What's the fate of this will? Do you still have this thing?
Oh, yeah, it's still up there. I'm not going to get rid of it.
What was this like making it?
It was really weird. Like, it was thinking about, first, I guess the big thing would be, I think just by virtue of having to set stuff up at work, my life insurance policy was taken care of, but like all of my assets and money and car and all that stuff, I was just trying to think who could benefit from this stuff the most? Like,
whoa,
who would have like a reason to really want this or a connection to it? Stuff like that.
What happens if there's no will? Then just a fight breaks out or people claiming pieces of your life?
I think then it would be my mom and my closest friends saying, hey, this is his stuff. I mean, and then deciding, who, or maybe just donating all of it to Goodwill.
Do you really care though? Because you're not around, so it doesn't matter what happens.
Well, I'm not around, but I'd feel better like.
Well, how would you feel if you're not around? You don't know what's going on.
I wasn't done. I'd feel better in those last few seconds of consciousness before I died, like knowing that people.
That's what you're thinking about?
I was going to give stuff. I don't know. That's what I thought about now.
I feel like my thoughts wouldn't be going that direction.
I don't know, man.
It'd be more like, really, this is what's happening?
This was the first time I've ever had a doctor do anything like this, so I didn't even know what to expect. So I'm like, yeah, I better write this out. This needs to be out there.
So that must have been a strange process to put that together?
Yeah, it was really weird. I didn't know, like, I'm like, oh no, when I was done, like, I closed it up. I'm like, I forgot some people, and like, I hope they don't feel left out. Yeah.
I feel spit on my grave.
Yeesh.
You didn't want me to look at it, though. You wanted me to bring it to someone or something?
No,
what was the rules you gave me for it?
Just don't tell anybody where it is, and if anything happens, then,
I should
show
know.
it to my parents.
I'm supposed to take it. I'm not supposed to open it, though, right?
I mean, you could. I don't care. I mean, I care, but like, I trust you.
To stop me.
I trust you with it.
Okay, there's like very specific instructions, which I tried to ignore as much as possible.
Yeah, you aren't going to give up on me.
No, of course not. Can't do this alone.
It was a funny night, though.
Yeah, so I didn't really do the best job because we're just hanging out. I'm like, let's get some dinner.
You did a great job.
We wind up getting this insane barbecue dinner delivered.
Dinosaur barbecue.
That probably wasn't the best choice for you.
Yeah, I realized why the next day.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But so we had a nice dinner. I allowed this to go out. We shouldn't have eaten that. It was a mistake. But we went to sleep. When did it did it hit you when you went to go to sleep? What was about to transpire?
A little bit. Like, I don't even remember when I got to sleep. Was it like midnight? Was it like 11?
Yeah, it was pretty late.
Yeah,
we didn't do the right
considering
things.
we had to get up at 5.
Yeah, we didn't do the proper
well, I didn't
stuff.
feel like I could sleep.
You were talking about, you're like, I'm going to go to sleep by 10. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
And those things never work out like that.
Nah, just couldn't sleep.
Right.
I mean, even now sometimes, like, I find it like I'm way too awake to go to sleep. I just end up reading for 2 hours.
So you said when you could, so it's just kind of a normal night, or like you couldn't sleep because of the worrying about
the worrying didn't help at all.
Yeah, kind of added to the anxiety.
Part of it was like, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Part of it was like, the sooner I go to sleep, the sooner I'm at the hospital, the sooner it's over with. But that didn't really work. It didn't really work.
Too. I'm like, as soon as I go to sleep, I'm going to wake up and go to work. Yeesh.
Yeah,
I'm just going to stay up longer. Can't do that. You got to be accepting of these things. You got to be accepting that life is terrible. Okay? There's nothing you can do. So OJ goes to sleep. I'm downstairs on the couch. The couch from Schnozman and Hole Punch.
I'm on that couch right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, since I'm using my friend's computer, I'm on the couch.
OJ didn't fix his computer yet.
I got the parts. I'm doing it Saturday.
OJ's trying to fix OJ
Hopefully.
first, as we're talking about here.
Yeah, seriously, I did not need the extra stress.
But I'm on your couch, on this couch where we did a lot of stuff, and I'm just like angry at God. And I'm just like thinking like, there's no justice in this world if you take him from me.
Oh,
you better not take him. You better not. Because if you break it down, if you boil it down, John, I think OJ's just like at his core, he's a person that like just wants to have a good time, and have fun and have fun with other people and make sure other people are having good times. That's really what OJ's about. I never really hear you say anything like, I want to be a millionaire or something, or I want I don't know, really anything. You just want to have
hurt.
But I never hear there's like a goal of yours, like I need to have this amount of money by this point or something. Or I think your motivation is like you just look for fun things to do. And,
yeah, it seems about right.
I don't know, that's pretty much it. So, like this guy, to take this guy away, it's not right. So I let that be known. If anyone was listening to my thoughts, I don't know.
Well, I'm still here now, so
one of the deities, perhaps.
Thank y'all.
Odin or something. But yeah, OJ's Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles. He fashions himself as a Leonardo, but he's a Michelangelo. He's a Donatello Michelangelo hybrid.
Oh, let me put it to you this way, all right? Leonardo's my favorite, okay?
Yeah.
I may not be him, but I aspire to be him.
You're a Michelangelo whose day job is to be Donatello. It's very interesting. You got a lot of contradictions going on with you. You're
I'm a walking contradiction.
You're a whole thing, man. But as we talked about, so I fall asleep at some point, and we had this insane barbecue dinner. I woke up like maybe 2 hours later, and I'm just like dying of thirst. Like,
yeah,
probably one of the worst experience like that I've had in my life of just being so thirsty. There must be insane amounts of salt in something.
Mm-hmm.
So I just raid this fridge, drink like all this water, just go nuts. So what we got to mention, OJ's gonna have something done the next morning. He's not allowed to drink any water from what?
Midnight.
11? Okay, it's from midnight to the next day at like, what was it, like 5 p.m.?
They didn't finally give me water until like...
Yeah, it was like 4 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, this freaking guy, I'm like, I'm dying. He did the same thing as me. Like, how is he going to function like this? Did you feel the thirst?
Mm-hmm.
I know that you did. I know you did because you told the nurse many times.
Oh, gosh, you couldn't shut me up about it.
So it was a poor choice.
Oh, my gosh, it was, you
were super thirsty.
Yeah, dude, I was like, and the sad thing is they said, you're allowed to have a little bit of water in the morning to take your medicine. I'm just like, nope, if I do that, this is not going to go well. I'm just going to drink way too. So thankfully the pills are tiny, so I just kind of swallowed them with saliva. Because I'm like, I can't risk it. This is too much.
They seemed weirded out by that too. When they asked you, like, did you take your pill today? And you're like, yeah. And she's like, you're like, I swallowed it. She's like, you didn't use any water? She's like, no. She's like, how did you do that? Like, they were like, yeah, they're like freaked out about that.
These are like the pills are the size of baby aspirin.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got up around like 5. You got up before me. I think you were just banging around, so I woke up.
Oh, yeah,
so
sorry.
Did it hit you at that point?
I mean, it was hitting me, yeah. Like, I knew this is. I'm so glad that you were driving me because I would me plus car would have equaled bad.
You might have just got on the highway and kept going.
Dude, I chatter I chatter too much under the best of circumstances. For this, I was just going crazy. I was like, when I get nervous, I talk and I joke and I joke. Like, I was. Oh yeah. I was freaking out.
So we get to the hospital, check in and everything. And I'm thinking, like, all right, well, they're just going to, like, bring you in, and that's it for me, and I'll, like, just chill out in the waiting room for several hours or whatever.
Yeah.
But they actually bring me into the room with you.
Yup.
Which is interesting, because it's also ironic, because last year we came back with the show around the same time, and it was me talking about going through a lot of health things.
Yeah.
Now it's you this time. By next year we'll both be dead, so I guess that's where we're headed here. But, yeah, like, I had people with me. When I went, they never allowed, like, anyone in the room like that. But for whatever reason, like, I was with you for quite some time. You know?
A very long time.
Yeah, a very long time. So I come in there, and I'm in the room with you. OJ, gets into the bed and everything.
Dude, you are such a gentleman and a scholar. Like, they brought me the gown and the safety socks.
Yeah.
And, like, I changed in the other room. You're like, just fine, just do it. You're like, you didn't freak out at me. You didn't do anything. I'm just like,
why would I freak out?
Let's just please look away from my butt till I'm laying down in the bed. And you're like, yeah, I'm cool.
I'm not ashamed by the human form. I really didn't see anything. I mean, I really didn't look. I would say if I did, but I didn't. Dude, you just don't look. You know what I mean?
You are such a trooper. I think you were. Oh my gosh, you were there when they had to shave a lot.
All right, so so AJ's laying down and he's just going crazy. He's like just throwing out references to things, like out of control, madman. Like at one point, the nurse is like, "All right, we're gonna put a patch on you," like a pretty like simple thing, and he's just like, "Oh, Patches O'Houlihan," and she's like, just looks at him like, "What are you saying?" And he's like, "From Dodgeball, the movie Dodgeball." There's like 2 nurses in there just to try to handle this man. It was just
I couldn't stop. One of them looked like a real tough. Like she looked tough. Dude.
Yeah, she had like a tattoo sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And
like legit.
It was very interesting with the nurses. Like we'll talk about it more, but it's very OJ because like at first they meet him and they like don't know what to make of this guy. Like they're like a little like, is he for real? Like should I be afraid of him? But then as just minutes go by, it's like they just fall in love with him. And that's very much OJ. You know, you first meet him, you're like, what is this? Like, is he messing with me? You know, is he doing like a bit? And they're like, oh no, he's just like a fun-loving dude, like we talked about.
The answer is yes to all of them.
Basically, yeah. So they start doing the IV. He's got IV because he hates IV. Ugh. Both arms, he's got AVs.
Yeah, seriously. This was what really freaked me out. They're like, they had told, this is the weird part. They had told me beforehand that we need to put an IV in one arm, then we're going to knock you unconscious, and we'll put the IV in the other arm then. And they put one in, they're like, no, we're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
2 IVs. Although you had it in the arms. Like when I had it, it was in my freaking hand. That was
Frell. Yeah, sick. Ugh.
It was kind of nasty. So like they did the one IV, and then they like, yeah, you asked them to take a break before they did the other one.
Yeah.
And but eventually they had to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they start doing it, and we're like talking and everything, and like I was like I got sucked into it. I was like watching it go on. It was like I got sucked into the vortex of like watching this, and John's just like he's like, oh, just say something. It's like, John, say something to me, like, you know,
distract me.
Please distract me. And I just like I just had nothing to say, and I just see his face wincing, and I'm like, oh man, I just blew it for this guy. I just felt horrible about it.
It was fine. You said something. You replied. That was good enough.
I was like, I don't know what to say, because I'm just watching this go on. You know, I've never really seen that like happen before my eyes. Like I had it done to me, which is kind of different. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was very interesting. I feel like I could do it now if you need something done.
Oh gosh, please no.
I was trying to learn. So they got the IVs in, and they're like, all right, we gotta shave him. And they're like, is it okay if this guy's in the room while we do this?
Yeah. So
I was just like, it's fine. I just won't look. And just looking out the window, and they start shaving him down. And what was that like to be? That must be a weird situation because there's like two nurses. Like, did you ever imagine yourself where you're in a room where someone's shaving you? There's another woman watching, and I'm also there.
No, that is not a scenario I ever thought would happen.
Like, yeah, it's like that's a little strange.
It was peculiar, and I just, that's not something that you could ever foresee.
It was pretty quick. They must not have much. Be a very hairy man.
Well, they had a buzzer, so they just kind of went.
What was it like to be shaven in that region?
I was fine. It just buzzed me. It was a little weird, but it wasn't nearly as weird as it was when we were done. But
did it itch when it grew back, or something? What do you mean? It was done like later? You're like, what happened here?
At the end of the day, we will get into it.
I don't even know
briefly.
About this.
Yeah. So
we were in this. I was in the room for like probably 2 hours. Just all this stuff's going on. Which
is just a note that like they said I was like I got there. We got there at like 6.
Yeah.
They said to get there by 6:30. So it's been like 2.5 hours, and I've just been sitting in the room. Like if John hadn't been there, I would have been by myself, jabbering at the nurses. Like they were cool. They were super supportive. Even the nurses said, "Hey, anybody who misbehaves, we send them to the dungeon." and then me and my infinite wisdom's like, the dungeon, huh? I don't know. Some people might enjoy that. And she laughed so hard. Yeah. Like, yeah, you know, that's a good point. I got to watch out for that.
Yeah, OJ was killing him.
I was just like, oh no, why did I say that? That is so awkward.
But at one point, like, we're in this room, and like we're shaving him, and I'm in there, and then John's like, oh, they probably think we're a couple. So I'm like, what's wrong with that?
People always think I'm a couple with people. It is so irritating.
Oh, they're dudes?
Like, no, dudes and women. It's just like I go out to dinner with like a friend of mine, like, oh, such a cute couple, or I go out to dinner with another friend of mine, like, oh, it just keeps happening, and it's just weird.
But I was like, what's so bad about that? And he's like, oh, it's fine. I just, they might think that.
But seriously, people, I don't know why everyone thinks I'm on a date with somebody else all the time.
You must be looking into their eyes very deeply.
I guess so.
For the meaning. So I felt like I was productive to be there because at one point, I think it was the doctor came in, and they're going through like a full medical history about you, like and like asking various questions, and you're like answering them, and at times you were like pausing. I feel like I was like chiming in on things. Like I was like I added some. I feel like I added some value because I've known you for like 20 years.
Yeah, dude. Totally.
So I was like telling about the time you passed out 2 years ago. You were jogging.
Oh, right. I forgot about that one.
Like, oh yeah, okay. And, so I felt like I kind of helped with that. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
And a lot of this stuff, like I remember because you talked about it on this program. Like anytime anything happens, like we talk about, so I was able to like, throw it in there.
No, that was good because, John, I forget everything when I go into a doctor's office. I have to write down questions on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then I always forget to write down the answers and forget by the time I leave.
Well, plus you're kind of like on the spot.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I'm rambling off crazy stuff. I'm not under any sedation or any medicine or anything. At most, I have a saline IV.
Well, you got that good old adrenaline pumping at that point, getting ready.
Dude. And that's the other thing. While we were waiting, I'm like, oh, dear Bob, I'm so zicking thirsty. This is killing me. They're like, once we put in the IV, it'll take care of that. Like,
was that true?
Yeah, it helped a little bit. But I also everything tasted, no, nothing tasted funny that day. That was a different day. Anyway.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we're gonna take him in now. Like 2 hours, has gone by. You guys just like sitting there. And like, we're gonna take him in now. So, you could go, explore the hospital or do whatever you want, and we'll let you know when he's done. And they gave me this freaking thing, like the thing you would get at the Cheesecake Factory when your table is going to be ready. Your chicken parmesan or something's ready. Like
they gave you a buzzer.
Yeah, they give me a little freaking square thing that has a light on it, and when he's ready, it's going to start buzzing, and then you can come back and pick him up. And I just felt this was so strange. Because, yeah, it's like you're waiting for your table at the Texas Roadhouse or something, or you're getting your oil changed. I get those sometime.
Oh.
But in reality, like, your friend is behind one of these walls, like, unconscious, getting sliced open and tubes going into his body and everything. And it was just a really strange kind of a concept, right?
Yeah.
Like, when he's done, then it'll go off. And at one point, it started, like, making noise. It was like 2 hours. It was like only like 2 hours in, and so I go back and they're like, "Oh, it's something's wrong with it. He's not ready yet. Your table's not ready, sir." It was like
your operating table's not ready yet.
It was very weird. So I'm just carrying this thing around, waiting for it to go off. So what happened to you? You went into the other room.
Okay, so again, I've been jibber jabbering like crazy, and as anyone who's listened to this program for long enough knows, I have a number of affectations. So we're talking, and this guy, and like this orderly or nurse or whatever dude comes over. They introduced me to the anesthesiologist as well. And, this guy comes, and then they're wheeling me out, and it's me and a bunch, and like 3 female nurses, and then there's a male nurse waiting outside. And, they start, pushing me through the door, and I'm like, hey, so if this thing backs up, do I have to make the beep beep noise? And one of the nurses, like, says if you want to, while another one says yes. So I was cracking
up. Just to see if you would do it.
Yeah. And then the male nurse comes by and he starts pushing me and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" Blah 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 blah. I'm like, "Hey, y'all, thanks a lot. Y'all doing a good job, or whatever." He's like, and I don't know. He's like, "Y'all, you're from the South?" Like, well, I mean, technically I was born in Virginia, but not really. Sorry, it's an affectation, sir. Okay. And we just start talking. And we just start talking about. Yeah, seriously. We start talking about random stuff, and we get in there, and they open the door to this. This is the room's not cavernous, but it's like maybe the size of the entire first floor of my apartment. Like if there were no walls, it felt that big. Like there's equipment everywhere. It's sterile white. Everything looks state of the art. Like honestly, there's just a heavy metal table, a shiny metal table in the middle with like a thing on it. And we walk in there, and I just look around, and I'm like, space, the final frontier. And they start laughing at that. And eventually they have to lift me up and put me on the table. And as they're doing it, I look around, and I see there's this white milky liquid on the floor. And I'm like, that's weird. I don't say anything because I'm like, okay. And we start talking about something. We start jabbering on about television or whatever. Someone mentions Tolkien, and I'm like, yeah, Tolkien's awesome, though people are super, like, but people are really into fantasy now, not because Lord of the Rings movies, that helped, but, like, once Game of Thrones really took off, like, the Song of Ice and Fire books are great, but once Game of Thrones took off, people started going crazy, like, about dark fantasy stuff, and like, yeah, blah, 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 Game of Thrones, blah, blah, blah. I start talking with somebody there about, like, they made so many changes, and then from the books, and this one behind me is like, yeah, they ruined a lot of things, and I forgot what else she said, and then I'm like, okay, as long as you're talking about Game of Thrones, there's something I have to ask. Did somebody spill milk of the poppy over here? Because there's some stuff on the floor, and because if anyone who's read the books or they mention it like a couple times in the show, but in the books they mention it every time somebody's sick or injured.
Yeah.
Like, oh, give them milk of the poppy, they'll feel better.
Yeah.
And basically opium, and because it knocks you out. And the anesthesiologist comes up and says, "Oh, sorry, that was me. That's your medicine."
You spilled it?
They spilled some. I'm like, are you serious?
He's like, sir, that is pure horse semen.
Oh. And the funniest thing is the anesthesiologist also says, by the way, we need to put another IV in. I'm like, what? I was told there would be 2.
Where did that one go?
There's like a still little dot. Why am I looking at it? There's still a little dot at like the front of my wrist where it wasn't for like medicine or anything. It was to measure my blood pressure constantly or something weird like that. And I'm like, okay, fine. They're like, don't worry, we'll do it when you're out. And I'm like, okay.
They couldn't do them all when you were out?
They could have done all of them but one. So, okay, so I'm laying there, I make a few cracks about the table being cold and a hard surface, a little uncomfortable, whatever. Like, now this is service, blah, 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 blah. And some other stuff I thought funny. And the anesthesiologist says, okay, so you're going to start feeling groggy really soon. We're going to give you a little bit of the medicine. And I'm like, am I going to be feeling groggy? Or are you just going to knock me straight out? And she's like, either. And that was the last thing I remember.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, just as long as we're clear. And I was out.
So there was no moment of like, I'm tired now. It's just like you're awake and then you're done. You're just out.
I think I could tell the medicine was going in.
Yeah.
But I was just like, we're done here.
Well, they tell you like you might feel cold or something, or you might feel like hot or something like that when it's going in.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I'd forgotten that. Seriously, like my mind was in a different place, dude. I was on a different plane of existence.
So I told the story last year where like they were waiting for me to fall asleep and it like wasn't working.
Yeesh.
And it was just like in the dark room and they were like standing over me, just waiting.
Yeah.
And like, do you feel tired? I was like, no. And it was like slowly over like every minute that went by, like slowly, like I was like fighting it or something. I don't know. But, so OJ's passed out. I'm thinking about what's going on in there. I'm naturally become hungry. So
fresh meat.
So this hospital's like gigantic, and it's like a new hospital, and the old hospital's like attached to it.
Yeah.
So the cafeteria is like in the old hospital. So I like walk like all the way down to this thing, and I grab some stuff, and I'm sitting there, and then you see like it was early in the morning, so you see like the workings of the hospital. So you see like there's all these different tables, and each table like they're different colored shirts on.
Huh.
There's like the janitors, and then there's like the dudes that probably like do the valet stuff, and then
oh gosh, it's high school lunch.
There's like the construction guys maybe, and then it was like all these different groups. And the cool kids was like the white coats, who I assume are the doctors. And they're having like this meeting, and they're just talking. And then at the end, the one guy stands up and is like, "All right, guys, let's head out there and let's save some lives."
They actually said that. That's awesome.
And I'm just watching this like, they actually say things like that. And that was like a movie. It's like a line. It's like a bad line from a movie, right? Like if you were watching a show or something and they said that, like a hospital show, you'd be like, it's kind of cliche. I wanted to be like that. I'd be like, that's very tropey of you, sir. You know, but they literally said that.
I can't believe it.
And then I was kind of wandering around, and I brought my notebook with me, and I kind of write things down once in a while, and found this nice waiting room where there's a large television affixed to the food channel. And there's a couple of people sitting in this room, and then there's a dude that's behind like a desk, and he's like, I don't know, he's like a security guy, or he's like a reception dude, and he's just sitting there, and he gets up to do something else, leaves the room. So one of the guys in the waiting room gets over there, grabs the remote control, which was on top of this guy's desk, changes the channel to Fox News. It puts the volume like way up, right? So the reception guy comes back a few minutes later, sees what has transpired here, and gets very upset. He's like, "Where's the remote?" The guy's like, I have it." He's like, "No politics. We cannot have politics here." And he puts the Food Network back on, and and that was that.
Nicely done.
So that was very interesting. You know,
like
it's a politics-free zone here.
Yeah, well, I think that's appropriate because you should only be concerned about your health and looking at food you can't eat.
You can watch yeah. Watch all this gelatinous food being created. Things you could never have, the people that come here. So there you go, man. So then I'm hanging out. This is a long procedure, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like 6 hours or something?
6 hours? What time? I came back at what, 2?
I forgot. It was around 2 o'clock. Well, we got in there at 6-ish. We weren't out till probably 8, maybe. So it was a good amount of time. But, so basically I go back to the area where you were supposed to be, and I'm just kind of like laying there. There's a couch. I may have fallen asleep a few times. Eventually the actual doctor comes out and sits next to me, and she's got this very worried look on her face. So I'm like, holy crap, like he's dead. Like he's dead. She's like very like concerned. So I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, well, he's awake, but he's repeatedly saying that he's groggy as Frel. He's also referencing some sort of sci-fi show. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one it is he's talking about. So I'm just kind of like, it sounds like that's how he is normally. Like, and I tried to explain that, he doesn't curse. He uses like his own kind of vernacular. And it was like, it sounds perfectly normal to me. Like she seemed maybe she was concerned, like they broke your mind. Like he's back, but he'll never be the same.
I only remembered saying it once, by the way.
Groggy as Frel.
And then I remember trying to explain what Farscape was.
Yeah, this is your go-to when you first wake up. Out of anesthesia. Just explain what Farscape is. And then she told me like a couple other little like details, and I was kind of like surprised. Yeah, she was treating me. I think they might have thought we were a couple, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Because
they were telling me a lot of information.
I could do considerably worse than you.
I'm like, am I supposed to write this down, or like, what am I supposed to? But she's like, all right, well, you could go, about 30 minutes. We're gonna let him like wake up a little bit more, and you can go see him. So I'm just chilling out for watching the Food Network for another half hour, and the nurse comes like, all right, you could go see him, and they're like, this is his room. I'm like approaching the door, and I'm like, I don't know what.
No, I'm remembering what happens next.
Oh, so I'm like, I don't know what to expect here. I'm thinking maybe he's probably gonna be like asleep or like kind of like out of it, a little unconscious. I walk in on OJ arguing with this nurse, and she's just yelling at him, don't move your legs. Don't move your legs. And he's going, I can't help it. I can't stop. So basically, what was it? You're not allowed to move.
I'm not allowed to move my legs. And I was trying, the thing is, before they put me out, I said, look, please tie up my legs. I might have trouble not moving them. When I was not, before I was even drugged, I said this. I said, please, just tie up my legs so I don't move them. They said this was an option. Please do this. They didn't do it. And I remember arguing with the nurse, but what I remember saying was, please, I'm having trouble not moving my legs. Please tie up my legs, or I do not want to move my legs. I'm doing everything in my power not to move my legs. It might not be enough.
So it's just like a wild scene I come in on, and she's going, do not move your legs. And then she goes, if you move your legs, I'm going to jump on you and hold you down. She's like, I will jump on your legs and hold them down if you move them.
And I'm like, good, I don't want to move them.
And he's just going, I can't stop. And then she comes at John like really hard. And he didn't even really notice because he was drugged, I think. But she was like, listen, all you gotta do is lay there, think about your TV shows, your video games, your trolls, or whatever it is you're talking about, and do not move your legs. I'm like, trolls? What was...
I don't even know where that came from.
She assumed you liked trolls. You were into trolls because you were talking about games and video games and
maybe because my hair is that bad. I don't know.
She's like, think about your trolls. Do not move your legs. So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta like say something here. So I'm like, John, just take it easy, and you can't move your legs. Just try to calm down. And then she starts getting mad at me. She's like, you don't know what it's like not to be able to move for hours at all. You probably couldn't do it. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. She's getting very frustrated, but then you won her over eventually, like we talked about.
Yeah, this was Dungeon Lady, right?
No, this was I don't. She was kind of generic looking. I can't really give you a. There's no descriptive thing I really remember about her.
Mm-hmm.
But OJ was obviously in another world. He wasn't completely normal. I'll tell you that much.
It was, or whatever passes for normal for me. I was somewhere else entirely.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I remember lying there. It was like you just can't do it.
Can't move.
Ugh.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember what I was talking
anesthesia.
about. Yeah, because you're not really aware of yourself or anything. Everything's just kind of like. And if I thought it was like, also what I loved was the fact that I got an excuse to use the term loquacious. Like I just kept blabbering and wouldn't stop talking. And I think I was even worse after the anesthesia, maybe.
Yeah.
But I remember when we were in there, so they had a blood pressure monitor on me, and it would test my blood pressure every 5, 10, 15 minutes. I don't remember how often, but it made a mooing noise. And I just started calling it the angry cow.
Like, there's the sad cow.
Yeah. So we just started doing like talking to the nurse, like, oh, there goes the cow. There it is. The cow done yet? All right, we're good. Let's continue.
So eventually they pulled me aside and they're like, listen, like we're gonna discharge him tonight, but he can't be alone.
Yeah. Because
originally they told you were to stay over. Right?
They said you are definitely staying over. There's like no way you're not staying over till the next night.
So we had planned where I was going to stay over the one night, and then you were going to stay at the hospital, and then your parents were going to come the next day and bring you back to your house.
Yep. And a friend of mine was coming on Tuesday to stay with me for a few days.
Yeah. So they're like, listen, he can't be alone though. Like, there's someone that could be with him. I was like, oh no, because I'm like, I don't want to stay again.
Yeah.
Because I had to go to work the next morning. I didn't have like any of my stuff with me really, and it would be kind of weird. I wasn't really prepared for it. So I started telling John, like, I can't stay with you. And you got like a little frustrated with me, probably because you were drugged. And you're like, you have a big bag with you. What do you mean you don't have your things? I was like, John, I'm sorry.
I don't remember that at all. Because in my mind right now, I'm like, okay, well, I can stay with my parents. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I was thinking, but I was getting mad at you?
You were getting, like, frustrated. You're like, oh, why can't you just stay? I don't know. It was weird. But,
really? Dang, man.
Do you remember the gruggy as Pharrell stuff you were saying to the doctor?
I remember saying it once when I was being wheeled to the room, but I don't remember being wheeled to the room.
Yeah, you got a little frustrated, like, for a second. You're like, well, I can't. I was like, I can't. And so I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out. So I start texting with John's mother. I'm like telling her what's going on.
Alive.
And then she just sends me a message like, bring my boy home. So now I'm in a situation where I have to convince the drugged OJ, who's out of his mind, that he has to go to his parents' house, which he doesn't want to do, and stay there, which is not anything he wants to do. So I'm trying to convince him about this. And eventually we were able to come to an agreement, I guess. I had the nurse actually helped me a little bit. She was like, no, you should go there, and like it'll be great. It was we had to take like a team effort.
Yeah.
To calm him down.
Nothing on my parents, but I was just like, man, I feel when I'm at my house, I'm at like my place of power. Like I feel super comfortable. Yeah.
It's your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, me and the nurse were just convincing him to do this. But it kind of like messed up all the plans because your friend Lauren was coming to stay with you, and then, she was like, "Well, where's he going to be?" And I was talking to her. I was talking to John's mother, and then John's mom like wasn't sure. It was like a group conversation, and she wasn't sure who was saying what. And it was just it was nutty. It was nutty. Well, yeah, we figured it out, And that's when all these nurses were coming in. Well, we just stayed there for like 4 hours, right? We couldn't move for 4 hours?
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't move for 4 hours, so I'm just sitting there.
So we're there for another 4 hours, all these different nurses coming in, and OG is going crazy, and like I said, they eventually all fell in love with him, and they were even like bringing other nurses that were involved, like to come, like just to talk to him.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, like you got to meet this guy. It was almost like you got to meet this guy, like just bringing him in.
Man, if that's the case, I want to go hang out with the Game of Thrones nurse again.
There's like 6 nurses, cool. Dude.
Oh man,
Yeah,
she was really cool.
They were just bringing people in just to like meet him.
I was wondering what's going on there.
And then like one of them would come close to you to talk to you, and the other three would like be in like the doorway just watching him, smiling, like what's he gonna say? Like what's this person gonna think about him? Like, you know, it's like
yeah. Honestly, one of the saddest moments was when Tattoo Nurse left. Like her shift was over. She was really cool. Yeah, I wish I remembered her name or like anyone's name. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't either actually. But yeah, that was that, man. Then like they're like you can move. So what was it like when you could finally move again?
I was just like, okay. They're like, don't do anything strenuous. Like they gave me a whole. I have the packet of instructions that they gave me.
One of the other things is you weren't allowed to like you couldn't go to the bathroom because you couldn't move for 4 hours.
Yep.
So if you had to go, then they would have to bring out the what? Like you piss into a bowl or something.
Yeah, so I was really glad that I didn't have to go.
He was just holding it. I was like, I have to hold it. I'm not going to do it. That would have been something. I'm in the room for that. That might have been one where I would step out. That would have been a true test. A true test of friendship. Do you want to be in the room while your friend's pissing? Yeah, that's a little tough. I might have stepped out for that. To be honest with you.
Oh, dude.
But
it was.
But John's just like, I'm not going to go. I'm going to hold it.
Yeah, it was. Well, they eventually let me go when I was standing up. Yeah. But like, there were a lot of restrictions on me. Like,
oh yeah.
To put it in the nerdiest terms ever, I was like as weak as Mage Hand from like weaker or as weak as Mage Hand from D&D. Like I couldn't lift anything more heavier than a gallon of milk.
All right, so these are the references that he would make to these nurses, who, like, these middle-aged nurses who have no idea what he's talking about. I just look at him like, what are you going to say? But you would find some common ground. Like that one nurse, what were you talking to her? Like you found something you both knew?
Oh,
Arrested Development, I think, right?
Arrested Development, yeah.
Yeah, like you would find like something they knew, and you would just go in on it, like the connection, you know.
Work the crowd, man.
You know your audience, you know. So what was it like when you finally stood up? Like your body just like broken, or
well, under the best of circumstances, I get lightheaded when I stand up. So. Oh, and get this, my medicine that I take increases that.
Whoa.
It also makes my hands colder, and my hands were already frigid, so hooray! But, yeah, I was a little dizzy, like a little bit. Like, I knew I couldn't walk much or move quickly or anything. I was paranoid of bumping into my bandages, because I had bandages on both sides of me.
Yeah.
So it's not like I even had a safe side. And the worst part was, so the areas where the doctors had to go in, one of the nurses had to take my hands and be like, and poke me there and be like, you feel that? Yeah, you feel how it feels? Like all puffy? She's like, yes, puffy. If anything feels hard or stiff, you call the doctor. And so, because there was swelling there for like days.
Yeah, there's a whole like bunch of instruction. Various people came in, like, talk about different things you're not supposed to do, what you can eat. What to do with the wound, how to like take the bandage off and clean it, and like all the kinds of.
That was fun.
All kinds of nutty stuff, man.
Yeah, but yeah.
So eventually we got out of there.
But before we did, Tattoo Nurse, who is my hero, remembered me making those jokes about the socks, about the footwear they give you.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, "Here you go. I got this for you so you can practice safe socks." And she brought me a wrapped pair of the socks.
Yeah.
And these socks are really warm, and they have rubber on the bottom so they don't slip off your feet. Basically, these things are the perfect "I'm not leaving my house today" socks.
So you're wearing them right now.
Oh, I wish. I wish. But eventually, yes, we did leave.
So we did leave, and then we got to the car. This was like over like 14 hours, I think, we're in the hospital.
Probably, yeah.
It was around like 8 o'clock, then we got out, I believe.
Wow, was that late?
I think so. I mean, it was like 7-ish, something like that. So I had borrowed my mother's car to take OJ because like my car is really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the passenger side door actually doesn't even open.
That would have been bad.
So I'm like, I don't think this is going to be very comfortable for him after he has this done. Well, actually, I didn't even think I was going to be driving you back though.
Yeah.
I just thought on the way there it'd be more comfortable.
Yeah.
His mother's got a nice like Volkswagen, and I don't know, some nice seats and everything, the seat warmers and everything.
That's a super nice car.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, yeah, just can you put the seat back? And I'm like, I don't really know the car, so we're just standing outside. It's like cold out. He's wearing shorts too. He always wears shorts, and like we're having trouble like figuring out how to move the seat, and then we got stuck like completely like in a down position for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just hitting all these buttons.
Because they told me to like adjust the seat in a particular way.
So we finally get it back, and we were able to figure it out. It was just like one of those moments where like after all this, to be defeated by the seat.
Yeah. Well, the worst part was when I was sitting there unable to move my legs, my back was killing me.
Right.
And the thing is, they never said, "Oh, here, take some Tylenol or whatever." They were just like, "Nope, can't move." And I'm like, "Ow, ow, 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 ow."
So then John's like, all right, we got to go back to my place, grab a couple things I need. So I'm like, fine, go there. It's got a driveway that's like, it's like a it's a building like multiple families live in the building.
Yeah, townhouses.
So there's like a one thin driveway. So I'm like pulling in. There's no spots. Then there's like a car trying to come in the other way. I back up into the street, turn around, go back, and the guy's trying to pull out, and I come back. It was just one of those situations, man. It's like everything's just going wrong, after all that.
I'd forgotten this, too.
And then John's like, all right, he's got this room that's just like a junk room. There's like boxes all over the place.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need a couple things. The box is like beige, and there's a blue thing and a red item inside, and you're to like pick that up, and underneath that's a couple pages.
Oh my gosh, I sent you there to get my parents' souvenirs from Japan.
Underneath the papers, there's like a bag. It's like all these instructions, and OJ's not allowed to go upstairs, so I'm like doing this, and I'm like just digging through stuff, and I'm like making a lot of noise. Like, you should have. It's like there's a lot of motion going on up there. Is everything okay? I'm just like throwing boxes and just tossing shit. And I eventually find his stuff, and he's like, "That's not the right thing. It's the same as this, but this is mine. I got him another one. Looks a little different." I'm like, "Oh my god, man!" So then we got all this stuff together. Drove you to your parents' place, and that was that, man. So what happened after that?
My parents, we got dinner. I don't remember what we did. I think I had leftovers, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just got procedure medical done.
Oh, that was the other thing.
Leftovers.
He's like, I need the Switch, the Nintendo Switch. You don't plug it. This is the carrying case, and I got it all together for him. It's like,
yeah, well,
all the important stuff we had to grab.
Anything to distract me from whatever mental state I was in.
Sure.
So yeah, and you got everything. You were a real trooper.
So how'd it go?
And then you drove the hour back.
How'd it go with the wound? Dressing the wound.
It was okay. So the funny thing was, the nurses, like the nurse and the doctor had said, yeah, when you shower tomorrow morning at your mom's house, like at 11 o'clock, yeah, 11 o'clock's fine. You can take the dressing off. Then one of the other nurses, like the dungeon nurse, was like, you serious? I'm throwing you in the dungeon. You know that, right? You're supposed to wait 24 hours. I'm like, I'm not waiting till 6 o'clock to shower. They said I could shower in the morning.
Yeah, there's some conflicting information.
Yeah, so I took the bandages off in the morning, admired my hideous puffy skin.
Yeah.
And that was really awkward. It felt good to shower.
You show your parents the wound?
No, F that. Ugh. Zick no. But, yeah, then the next day, we basically waited around at my parents' house. My parents asked me what I wanted to eat for breakfast. And I asked for something that would make me happy and make them happy too, because my dad makes really good French toast. And I think he really likes making French toast, so I asked for the French toast, and we had French toast. And nice. But here's the thing though, that night, John, I was in probably what was then the most painful night of my life.
God. What were you?
Back. Yeah?
What were you feeling though?
Well, I thought it was because I was lying on a table and my back seized up, and my back was in agony. I couldn't sleep that entire night. I fell asleep at like 3 or 4. Yeah. And I woke up at 10 and couldn't go back to sleep.
Wow.
So I was just and I knew I had to get up because my friend Lauren was flying in from Texas to make sure I didn't die that week.
Yeah, because you couldn't be alone and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Dungeon Nurse also said I was being a baby, but whatever. So don't get me wrong, Dungeon Nurse was awesome. So I can't sleep. My back's killing me, and I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. Like, I'd almost fallen asleep sitting on my parents' recliner. Like, my back's killing me, and it never occurs to me, take something for the pain. Take pain medication.
Advil or something, you know.
Specifically, I think I'm supposed to take acetaminophen or Tylenol, whichever.
Or supposed
if I take it. Yeah, like aspirin, I think, would have been okay, but not as good. So, yeah, I'm just in agony all night. Like, I can't sleep. I start reading my book. Like, I go through probably half of a book. I don't even know how much. Because I can't sleep, so I just try to read for 20 minutes. Doesn't work. I get up, walk around, try to sleep. Nope. Finally, I just give up. I leave the bed and go back to the recliner and settle myself in on the recliner because I remember being more comfortable there.
Yeah.
My back was just agony. It was horrible. It slowly got better the next day. And after that. And so on Tuesday, Lauren came to visit and we stayed home. We watched all of the final season of the most recent season of Game of Thrones, started watching some other TV shows. We were basically just lazy bums sitting around my house. We didn't even play video games. We just talked about stuff, watched TV, and ordered delivery. Like, we ordered
more
delivery.
Barbecue.
No barbecue, though. Dude, we ordered delivery dinner and then ordered delivery frozen yogurt, like within an hour.
Delivery breakfast.
It was tempting. Don't get me wrong. But, dude, like, no, Lauren actually, she took my money. I asked her, she said she was completely cool with this, went to Trader Joe's and a couple other places and just brought me back piles of food.
It's interesting because it's like probably, you know, a terrible experience for you. Like, you know, one of the worst maybe a couple days of your life. But at the same time, like, people come out for you, so it's almost like it's got a yin and a yang to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
And you see, like, oh wow, people really care about me a lot.
Yeah, like you and Lauren, and then a couple of my other friends came by, and then a couple of my other friends came by a different day. Like,
yeah,
you guys were really amazing.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I just wish the saga ended there.
Yeah, it's still continuing.
So I was out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because work was not a thing that would have been good for me, and I cleared it with my boss and the office and everything, so we were fine. Come Friday, Lauren left Thursday night. I'm like, all right, I'm on my own. I'm gonna work from home. We're gonna be fine. And I worked from home, and it was okay. Got through it. Sure. Had some pain, nothing crazy. Cool. Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing all right. Monday, I drive myself to the office. Sure. Tuesday, I cancel Dungeons and Dragons because I'm not feeling great. I'm just exhausted. And I go home, and I'm like, man, I need to sleep. And I go up to bed, and I can't. I am in more pain than it felt just like that night I came home from the hospital.
Wow.
Intense pain in my back. Like it is, I am aching. I am in just a slew of pain and I'm freaking out. I call the doctor in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I'm like, doctor, tell me the news. Got a bad case of, oh gosh, this hurts.
I'm dragging his frill.
Yeah, so I call the doctor who did the procedure, right? I call their office and I say, hey, I'm in intense pain. My back is killing me. I don't know what's going on. Is this from lying on the table? Is that normal? Blah, 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 blah. And they say, okay, it's been a week. It's been just about a week. This is probably, it's been over a week. No, it's been, over a week. This is probably something else. You should call your regular doctor.
What the hell?
Said their office. So I'm like, okay, sure. So I call my doctor and they call me back and they say, what's wrong? I said, my back is killing me. This is really bad. And my doctor, the hero, says, okay, well, we don't really have any appointments, but We can get you in at can you come in by 12:15? You've just had a procedure, so we really should see you. And I'm like, yes, okay. This is 9 a.m. Like I had just woken up and called the doctors.
Yeah, there's probably some scary moments there, you know.
Yeah, I slept. I couldn't sleep so badly. I came downstairs to lie on the couch because I thought I'd be more comfortable there at an angle. And so I go back to sleep for like an hour. I fall asleep for an hour. I slept maybe 3 hours and then an hour. I get up, I shower because that's what I do, and I get in the car and I'm like, oh my gosh! Every time I inhale all the way, I am filled with agony. My breathing is shallow. My back is killing me. I'm driving the car, trying to adjust the seat to be more comfortable and less painful. And I'm realizing I have to drive all the way across town. This was a humongous mistake. So I'm taking the back. I mean, I'm not taking any, there's no highway route to get here. So I'm just driving through all the slow roads. Then finally I get to see the doctor, and the doctor's like, okay, yep. So here's what we're going to do. We are sending you down to the hospital.
Yay.
And by the way, I have not eaten or drank anything except a little bit of water. Which proved to be very good because okay, we are sending you down to the hospital for a CAT scan.
Did you have to drive to the hospital?
Uh-huh.
How far is that from there?
About 10, 15 minutes.
No ambulance?
No ambulance. Nope. So
Okay.
I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm breathing a tiny bit better. I drive to the hospital. They give me a CAT scan. And the CAT scan, get this. The CAT scan, actually was the CAT scan the CAT scan might have been the next day. I don't remember. The CAT scan, no, I think the CAT scan was the same day. Sorry, my brain was fried. Seriously. They're like, yeah, we can give you a CAT scan today at 3 or 4 p.m. or something. I'm like, sure, cool. I'll just drive. The doctor's like, if you leave straight from here, you'll make it in time and you'll be fine. Like, okay. So I drive straight there, and then we find out when we get there, oh, this has to be a, what's the word? Not a gradient CAT scan, but or differential CAT scan, but
the special IV CAT scan. You have 6 IVs.
The one IV, but yeah.
Oh, I'm right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So they filled me up with red fluid or something.
Oh, yeah,
I did a CAT scan.
Yeah, I had that done too, yeah.
Yup. And it tasted so foul. But here's the funny part. They did the CAT scan, right? They put the IV in. It was one of those detachable IVs. They put the IV in, and when they're done, I'm like, sweet, are we done? Can we take the IV out? No! We have to check to make sure everything's okay. We have to look at it first to make sure we don't need to do anything else. And they've just flushed my body with this stuff. I can taste plastic.
Yeah.
And okay. I go back to the waiting room. I'm just sitting there freaking out. I'm reading on my phone. I went through probably 2 to 3 books in this whole debacle. This whole, not my nightmare scenario. Not a nightmare, but uncomfortable scenario.
This makes me upset because we did such a nice job taking care of you.
I know, right?
And here we are. Back to where we started.
So they do I know, right? So they do the CAT scans, and they come back and they say, okay, we've got the results. I don't know what happened if I saw my doctor again that day or the next day, or if I even saw him again, because they determined what the problem was, and basically, I had a lot of little blood clots in my lungs.
You had, so you no longer have?
Pulmonary embolisms.
Is it gone now, or you still have it?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Well, yeah, because they put me on blood thinners.
Do you still have to take them now, or are you done with that?
Yup.
For how long?
3 months.
So it never comes back or something?
To make sure that I'm okay.
So basically that was causing back pain and breathing pains?
It was causing pain every time I inhaled because my left lung had blood clots in it.
And that's from the procedure itself?
Probably.
Well,
probably.
It came from after that, though.
Yeah. I think it's something that's a 1 in 500 chance of happening.
Nice.
So there was that.
Won
the lottery. And then the next, so that was bad. And I lost my last 2 days off for the year. because of it. So that was fun. Like, I was in agony. It was bad. It was so bad. Like, but I was feeling way better with the medicine. But now I have to I'm freaked out. Like, apparently I could bruise more easily. It takes me longer to stop bleeding.
Yeah.
Gotta worry about this stuff. I'm scared to floss right now, John.
Did they tell you to be cautious, or?
Yeah.
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 Well,
then. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're not done though. There's more. So right after that, I had an appointment scheduled with with the doctor who did the procedure, because it was a follow-up appointment for after the procedure was done. First of all, she apologized profusely for the mix-up and sent me to my other doctor because she was in a procedure at the time, so she didn't actually get the message until later.
She's like, listen, go see your other doctor, talk about your video games, your trolls. Leave me alone.
Yeah. And then, so I saw her, and, oh, right, now I remember, I had to go back. Then after I saw her, I had to go back to the other doctor again. Was that the same day? I don't know. Everything's jumbled because I kept seeing two doctors on the same days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think then I went back to my original doctor, and he took like 17 million vials of blood. Like, I went down to the lab with a sheet with like 17 stickers on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think each sticker was a particular test they needed to do with my blood, because they wanted to see if there was a genetic reason for why this was happening. So they took my blood. Hooray. And then, remember the sleep studies?
Yeah, yes.
Well, finally, after I had previously had another sleep study that was successful and determined I don't have sleep apnea. So, like, yay. But then the doctor said, usually if they don't detect it with a home study, we have you stay at the hospital and do a sleep study. And I'm like, fine, do it, whatever. And I had gone to stay at the doctor for a sleep study. And I stayed at the hospital, went through that whole thing, wire me up, cover me in gel, don't care, goop me up. I'm skimming through this. This is a whole other thing.
Yeah, we should hold on to that when we talk about that
some other time, maybe. But I got results back from stuff.
Yes.
I got results back from the sleep study and from the blood tests.
Yes.
Sleep study. Congratulations, you don't have sleep apnea. And I'm like, okay, why am I exhausted all the time? I don't know. You should schedule a follow-up opinion with the sleep doctor. So I call the sleep doctor immediately after getting off the phone, and the office says, well, we don't have results from the in-hospital test. We only have results from the home test. I'm like, yeah, they just called me. I guess you haven't gotten them yet. I'd like to schedule a follow-up. They're like, well, we need to talk with them first. We're going to call them, then we'll call you back. They haven't called me back yet. But I heard back from the blood tests.
Yes, what do you have?
There's something wrong with you. Well, what's wrong with me? We can't tell you. We don't know. Or something like that. Like, and then I got confused, so I called them back to ask again. And basically they said, it's like when they test you for the flu. They can say definitively, yep, you have a flu, but they can't tell you what kind of flu you have. So apparently I have something wrong with me that I will not be able to find out until I see a different doctor a month later.
Well, it's sad that you're still in the process here.
Oh, there's more too. One last bit.
Oh, go ahead.
A month later, when I see that other doctor,
yeah,
at the hospital, the same day I have my follow-up after the procedure to see that doctor, and they put me on another heart monitor for 2 weeks to see if they fixed me.
Well, you're making money for people. Keep that hospital open.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel optimistic about what's to come?
I do.
The worst part's behind you now?
Hopefully, but it's possible that they might have to do the procedure again.
Oh, my God.
Could
you do it again? Could you go through that again?
I could, but I'd really rather not.
I don't see how you could do it.
And if I did, they'd put me on blood thinners again.
Yeah. Well, what is there a strong
Assuming I
chance
ever
you'd have
get
to do this again or no?
When I went back to see the doctor and they tested me, they did like a brief like at the doctor's office test of like,
Yeah.
we saw a few skips, but this could be because you're still in pain and your heart's freaking out from having been had procedures done on it like a week prior. So,
well, let me put it this way. So we talked about how you really detest this type of stuff, as you should. But has it, facing your fears, has it quelled the anxiety a bit, or the hatred of it? To some degree?
Helped a bit. Yeah, it did help a lot.
Getting used to being, which isn't a good thing either. You're like, I'm giving so much blood and being pricked so many times that I'm used to it and it's fine. Which is also not good because it means you're going through it a lot. Yeah,
I know. I mean, I did much better when they drew my blood for the 8 million vials or however much it was. I didn't look.
Yeah.
And when I got the IV for the CAT scan, I did okay. Oh, right. I want to say I met a nice lady who had just moved up here from somewhere farther south to be with her family, like a nice older lady. And we talked for a while, and that was a really cool thing.
Okay. You're becoming hard and calloused. You're like, take my blood. Take all of it.
Yeah.
Fine.
I'm not
procedure
that
3 times
crazy.
in a row.
I'm not that crazy, but it was...
I hope you don't have to do that again. That'd be really...
I really hope not.
That'd be really horrible.
Apparently, another friend of mine who had a similar procedure done says 90% of the time it's completely cured the second time through.
Please don't do this again.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on what happens with the doctor. I will tell you this, though, dude. My heart feels markedly different.
Yeah, it's good.
Like, I could tell. Like,
well,
dude,
that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. Well, my watch, I have a doofy little Fitbit.
Yeah.
And it would always measure my resting heart rate at like 60 something, which was completely inaccurate because, dude, I mean, I'm a big dude who's not as healthy as he should be. 60 is for like an athlete resting heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
And after the procedure, it measures it completely differently. It sticks around at like 80 right now, which is normal. And beforehand, when I'd exercise, it would easily hit 150. I mean, sometimes it would hit 200, which is a problem, but it would easily get up there. And now it stays lower. It stays around like 130.
Well, that's the whole point of this whole thing, I guess, was that you'd feel somewhat better. So I hope that's true.
Yeah. I think it fixed a lot of it. I don't know if it fixed all of it, but the weird thing is, John, it feels like, I wouldn't say there's a numb mass in my chest, but where I think I was used to feeling my heartbeat like more, it's quieter now, and I don't notice it as much. It's not as insistent, which it feels better, but it's weird. Like, it's almost like there's a spot there.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really strange. Like, if it's
something
like I lived
inside, sort of alien.
It's like I lived so long with something there, and now it's gone. Like if I had like a mole or something they removed. That's what it feels like. Yeah, it's really weird. It's not bad, but it's not necessarily good. It's weird.
Has this been the most difficult challenge you faced in
my life?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I've hit other stuff, but like nothing so medically scary or or so grueling because it took so long. I mean,
yeah.
School was tough. Other things were tough.
School's nothing compared to this. I mean, come on.
Oh. I mean, I've had other medical quote-unquote emergencies, but nothing like this. I still can't believe I drove myself to the doctor's office, like, with pulmonary embolisms. That just, oh my gosh.
Well, I hate to hear you going through all this stuff, man, and see it as well, up close and personal.
Well, I will say having you there made it so much better.
We do what we can, but I think you'll be all right. That's all.
I hope so.
That's all I can tell you. That's all I have to say still. But, I don't know. I've known you for like over 20 years now. We've been in a lot of interesting scenarios. This was up there.
Yeah,
it's very different. So hopefully, next time I take you somewhere, it'd be somewhere you want to go.
Yeah,
something you want to do. It's fun.
I so.
Which was always my goal. Never wanted that to be the case. Of like, taking John to the hospital now. It's no good, man.
Oh, but I appreciate it.
So I had a couple things I want to talk about here.
Okay.
Maybe we should kind of pull out of it on hold. I want to talk about this big Disney and Fox thing. Maybe we'll hold on to that for next time. Should we get into the Star Wars here for a little bit, or
sure?
What do you think? You want to do that? Does that feel right?
Yeah, dude. I've been preparing for this by having discussions about it like crazy.
All right, so what have you been talking about? So we'll hit into the Disney Fox stuff, which I wanted to talk about. I guess we can't get to everything. It's too we're going long here.
Sorry, I'm not very known for my brevity.
OJ's so ill that it took up the entire show talking about No. It was good. It was a story that had to be told.
Well, thank you.
I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that whole thing. I'm still talking about it now. Just when I came in the room, it's like I'm gonna jump on you and hold your legs down.
I do not. I remember having a discussion with a nurse, but I don't remember it being even anywhere near that heated. Because
what did I walk in on here?
Because I was expecting to wake up with my legs tied down.
Street jacket, this man.
Use the one we have left over from.
If your legs were tied down, you might have been worse.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, so let's get into the Star Wars movie. The Last Jedi was the movie. Should I begin with this? I don't know what to say. So, here's the deal with this movie, right? Similar to The Force Awakens, where when I watch these movies, I'm very invested into it. I hang on every word that's said in every scene, and I'm very interested to see what's going to happen next and who's going to appear and what they're going to reference from the past. I even get emotional at points. There was probably 2 moments in this movie where I kind of get a tear in my eye. So I get really into it. I'm pretty entertained by these movies. And at the end, I'm pretty satisfied with it. But then when I sit down and put some thought into what I just witnessed, I'm kind of apathetic to the whole thing. And I'm almost I don't know if I needed to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of talked about with the last movie. I don't know if I ever needed to see Han Solo die. You know what I mean? Did I need to see that? Or to find out that Han and Leia, didn't work out together. And that the Empire is not really defeated. You know what I mean? Did I need to see any of these things?
No.
And that's where we kind of have issues.
So I felt the same way. Watching The Force Awakens, I was looking at it thinking, oh my gosh, the Rebel Alliance accomplished nothing. Yeah. Everyone's lives went to garbage immediately afterward. They didn't succeed at all. This is terrible.
Yeah. And that's kind of what they have to do, because in order to make a new storyline, you have to undo things because that story wrapped up, right? But we have to tell a new story, so we have to kind of undo what was done, and it's not over. It's continuing. They didn't really accomplish anything. These other people have to do it, right?
But this is what bugs me, though. Here's the thing. Oh, no. Rebels versus Empire. Yay, Rebels win. Hooray. Oh, no. And they're like, wait, we need to have conflict again. So what? They basically have them fight the Empire again? I don't know. There's a lot of galaxies out there. Maybe somebody's invaded from another galaxy. They could fight them.
Right. Yeah, they didn't really come up with a different thing.
They basically had to do the same thing in the first movies.
Maybe you don't really know. This First Order, I don't really know much about. The Snoke guy, you don't know jack about him, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
There was this Phasma person who's also gone.
She was such a cool character. Could have been.
How was the character cool?
She was the only stormtrooper to ever have armor that worked.
Very strange, that character. It's like Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones. But she never, in Force Awakens, she never takes the mask off at all. And in this movie, they did a thing where she never takes the mask off, but you see her eye for a bit.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand what that was about.
I feel like
why did they show the eye?
The movie wastes their characters.
But why? What was that about with the eye, though?
Just supposed to maybe give her some humanity or something. I don't know.
Okay, so they're giving us some humanity, but what are you trying to say? Because the dude Finn, he like wasn't upset. He was just like he was like happy about the whole thing. He's like, yeah, die.
I think in the novels she was his squad leader and kind of tormented him. Well, like she was the leader of his group division.
Yes, but I'm asking why. What was the significance of the eyeball?
Probably something. If it's not something in the novels, maybe it was just. I don't know. We're trying to do the writer's job. As my friend Pete would say, we're trying to do the writer's job for them.
Is it that the suit is so, like, she never takes the suit off because it's so impenetrable, but he broke the suit, so we get to see through the suit?
I guess.
That might be it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine said that he discovered that she was a woman because he didn't know it was a woman, and it showed that it was. But that still doesn't make sense to me because it was a female voice. What would that even mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
People have all kinds of things to say. And what's interesting is the people I talk to have complaints, but it's all different things. It's never like the same thing.
Huh.
Which is interesting. Like a lot of people really complain about that Casino Planet a lot, which I really didn't have an issue with.
I mean,
people like hated it, like despised it.
Why?
I don't really know.
It didn't add much, but
I've seen some crazy stuff online that the movie had a vegan slant. And people were very upset about this. Well, there's the scene with Chewie. He was going to eat the porg, and the other porgs were like, "Don't eat the porgs," and he didn't do it. And then there's the part in the casino world where they save those creatures.
Yeah.
So people are like saying, "Oh, it has an anti-meat message in the movie."
Honestly, I wanted to see Chewbacca eat the porgs because I hate the porgs and want them all to die.
I don't feel like they really mattered much.
They were they were kind of cute and cuddly, and they're like, hey, we're the cute mascot. Yeah. And I really just didn't like them.
All right, I didn't really have any opinion on it either way. I didn't feel like it really mattered. But yeah, people like say this kind of stuff, like I was saying. I mean, if you have you have your own belief structure, you go to see this movie, like you should be able to walk away from it and not be mad, even if there was like an anti-meat message, which I don't think there is anyway. Like you're really looking deeply into it. Yeah. But let's say there was like an overt message like that. Like you should be able to hear an opinion and then be like, my belief structure is still intact after this. Like it shouldn't be shattered because you saw this movie with puppets in space, and you're like, oh, I now question myself. Because a different opinion was expressed to me. Yeah. But I don't think that was even there. I think it's digging really deeply into things.
Very deeply.
But just to get back on track, so again, it's like very entertaining. But yeah, my main issue is like we're just kind of back where we were at, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes stories like have to end. And like there was an ending to the story. And now we're like opening it back up. And we're right back where we were, where we're trying to defeat this empire against all odds.
Yeah, I mean...
For the next movie, will they defeat them? Can they do it? They're really outmatched. Can they come up with
come up with what?
The way to win. But it's like, maybe the rebellion should lose at this point, because you won last time, and now here we are. So maybe like you deserve to not be in control.
Yeah. I mean... The expanded universe books, from my cousin read a lot of them, so I got like the short version of like the stories. At the very least, they let you feel like they accomplished something in the movies, and then we took it to a place where the characters could grow and become better, because we're still focusing on the original trilogy people. Yeah. But now, where we jumped ahead, it was as if all of the characters from the original series, as soon as they were off camera and the series, the Death Star 2 blew up, they all became stupid, dumb, ineffective people.
So if you were to watch the original trilogy, you never saw any other movie. So you watch the original trilogy, and at the end of it, you're like, hey, what happens next? Okay? And then someone's to tell you, the Empire doesn't go away, now it's just called the First Order. Okay? Han and Leia get together, but they break up. They do have a kid that eventually Luke considers murdering in his sleep, So he turns to the dark side and kills Han. I mean, obviously, that's kind of out of context. There's more around that. But, like, if someone was to tell you that, like, how would you feel about that? Like, is that a satisfying, like, oh, cool.
I'd be like, I just wasted my life watching these movies.
I know. So it's kind of, and there's different,
That's the best way, John, to put it. That is the best way to put it.
But there's different aspects to this because I think with us, like, we focus on the original trilogy a lot.
Yeah.
Because I work with people that are like 10 years younger than me. And they seem to not feel upset about what they do with the original characters because they're more like people that grew up with the prequels, so they're used to like a lot of Star Wars characters, right? So they don't really have that kind of like feeling Luke shouldn't do this or he should be like this or that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mark Hamill agrees Luke wouldn't do this.
Yeah, I read that article. That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that gets me. Okay, here's the thing that gets me. Like, the prequels kind of pooped on the original trilogy. Like, they kind of ruined it. Like, explained what happened before in a very unsatisfying way, at least to me. But these movies, but it was okay. The original trilogy still held up because you know what? The good guys won. They did some cool stuff, and they were off to do great and wonderful things.
Yeah.
But like this new trilogy, like it poops on the original trilogy, turns it into coffee, drinks the coffee, poops it out again, and then sets it on fire. It's horrible. Like it's basically invalidates it.
I understand why they do the things they do, because it's like they're passing the torch to the new characters.
Yeah, but you could do that without ruining the old ones.
They're trying to give them like satisfying endings.
They're not, though.
And I think they don't know what to do. I think they didn't know what to do with them to begin with. Like Luke, I don't think they knew what to do with him.
But here's the thing.
Because he's supposed to be very powerful. Like, he would be very strong at this point.
Yeah.
They don't want him to be a main character, really, right? He's a side character. So how is the strongest character has to be a side character? So they came up with this idea where, like, he's on this island, like, alone. So, like, okay, why would he exile himself? He did something terrible, right? That's why he self-exiled himself, because he did something horrendous. So they had to come up with something horrendous for him to do. But, yeah, that kind of ruins the character, right?
And it also doesn't really fit with Luke.
No, I mean, like, he, of all people, like, saw in Darth Vader, like, the worst guy, the most feared guy in the galaxy. He saw good in him.
Yeah.
And then, God, that is weird. Like, it just freaks me out to even think about it. So his nephew, the son of Han and Leia, is asleep in bed. And his uncle stands over him with a lightsaber. He pulls out his big lightsaber. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
A lot of the things that are going on in around now, like this kind of like it's very inappropriate. It's very dark, man, to go there. And for a moment, he thought about killing him. Like, I understand, like, maybe he felt like he made a mistake. You didn't have to go that. That's pretty far, man.
Yeah, I don't buy that. Also,
That's
what I don't buy,
man.
Like, what's the darkness he saw in him? They don't ever talk about what Kylo is doing. They never said Kylo would wound the other students. He chopped off several arms and legs. Like, what was Kylo doing that was so bad?
It doesn't make a lot of sense, because it's like he thought about, all right, so Kylo wakes up, he sees him over him with the lightsaber out, and then he decides to kill all the other students.
Well, he took some with him, he said.
He took some with him and killed others.
Yeah, another thing is, okay, you don't have to, like, if you want to, you know what, you could have Luke be a side character who's upset about something bad he did. Even keep the stupid Kylo Ren thing. To be fair, I actually like Kylo more than Rey. Moving on.
But
like, you can leave the stupid thing to make him a side character. He did something horrible, so he can do what he did at the end of the movie and disappear, right? You don't, but at the very least, instead of the problem is, well, one of the problems with these movies is tell, don't show. They tell you Luke's a great general, he's amazing, but they never show you how he's amazing. Like, he does two things, and like what he did in Return of the Jedi and the original trilogy was great, but not enough for him to be worshipped like he's worshipped. Like,
really?
And then I don't know, it was pretty good, but
What do you mean? You don't think he should be like legendary based on that? What he's done in the past? And
but
he's the last Jedi too, so that would travel across the galaxy and be like, you heard about this dude?
I guess. But the thing is, I think that they really should have shown a lot more of these things. Like, oh, there was darkness in Kylo Ren. You told me. You didn't show me. I don't believe you. Explain. Show us.
It was a big jump. I feel like it was a big jump from like he saw him over him, and then he just killed people. Yeah, and I think another problem is just wasted potential in the films. But let's go with your points first. I don't know. I feel I don't want to just keep blabbering about that thing. I feel like you had something you're getting at. No, I mean I just see what they were like trying to do. So for like the first movie, they're trying to make you hate Kylo Ren, so he kills Han, who you love. Now you're building him up, right?
Honestly, that just made me sympathize for him.
Maybe you're supposed to feel something for the character, whether it's sympathy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're supposed to care about the character. He did this.
Yeah.
Like that connects me to something. There. Like I have a connection to Han. This character affected him. So now I feel something for this other character. So they're kind of like passing it along, which is like what they did with Luke here. He's passing it on. And I think they didn't really know what to do with him. So they kind of came up with this whole like exile deal.
Yeah. That's fine.
It did bug me at the end where like he didn't even show up. He wasn't even there. At one point I thought it was cool because I thought he was going to, it was like, wow, he did this force projection thing, right? And now he's just safe on this island. Now he's going to show up in the next movie. But then he kind of faded away and that was it.
Oh, you know what? Have you heard of the phrase Chekhov's guns?
No, what is this?
This is a phrase for, I think, literature, theater, or drama, or whatever, where there was a guy, one of the writers named Chekhov wrote, if in the story they describe a gun in Act 1, by Act 2 or 3 it must have fired. Like to show there's a cool thing that you see, there must be a payoff for it later, right?
Yeah.
Well, they showed Luke's X-Wing underneath the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the island. And the expected payoff was, they're going to reference Empire Strikes Back and he's going to lift it out of the water.
Yep.
And like that was a plausible reason for him to leave his exile, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe I thought he was going to come fight Kylo and then pull an Obi-Wan.
Well, yeah, they were trying to show that the thing was like he couldn't leave the island on his own. I think that was destroyed, but but we saw him pull it out of water before. Yeah, so that kind of defeated the purpose of that. But honestly, at the end, I was getting into. I was when I was watching, I was kind of like, well, that's weird with that whole go into your nephew's room while he's asleep and stand over him, blah blah blah. When he like did the whole thing where all the guns were shooting at him, that was pretty awesome. Yeah. He's like, every gun you have, put it on that man, and he's fine. I thought that was really awesome. But then when you find out it wasn't even him, like it wasn't even there, it's like, why did you? It's like he didn't even show up. He wasn't even there. Now he's gone.
No, yo, you know what's going to happen, right?
He's going to be a ghost.
You know those caretakers on the island?
Yeah.
You know how they don't really like Rey?
Well, that was just like a gag.
No.
No? All right, go ahead.
Who was the last person they saw talk with Luke Skywalker?
Her?
Luke Skywalker's dead now. They're going to arrest her for murder.
I think you're going too far into that.
No, he's going to be.
I actually like those. I like that stuff. That was pretty cool. It was weird.
It was funny.
I love weird creatures they throw in those movies.
Yeah,
I'm all about that. I like that.
Those were inoffensive. They were funny.
No. I liked all the creatures.
The Porgs?
They barely do anything, John.
I know. There's just something about the Porgs that I didn't like.
They exist.
I think they're too cute.
Okay. Well, if you took them out, it wouldn't change anything.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Stuff I did really like. I mean, freaking Yoda comes in. I loved how they set that up. Like,
yeah.
Instead of just having him appear like, in a straight shot, like here I am. Like they show him from behind. Like Luke's going up this mountain and you see the back of Yoda's head. It's so good. Like he's there just waiting for him to show up. Like he's been there for a while. And then the way that he acts, he's more like original trilogy Yoda. He's like goofy and doing the laughing and.
Yeah, he's messing with it.
The original the prequels. He's kind of like sterilized Yoda.
Yeah,
like, I'm very regal. I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was really awesome. I really like that whole thing. Like he lights the tree on fire. Yeah, because like Luke was basically back to when he was a kid, man. The way he acted.
Yeah.
He's acting impulsively, but he's not even sure what he wants to do. He wants to burn it down. Yoda does it for him. He's like, why did you burn this? He was about to do it himself. That was just awesome.
Yoda probably already knew the books weren't in there.
I think they were. He just didn't like they don't. He explained it.
No, they show you the books. They're in the Falcon.
Oh, she took them out.
Finn opens the drawer, or someone opens the drawer, and they're in there.
Okay. And then R2, the stuff with R2. Luke's in the Falcon. He turns on. R2's like he's like broken, I guess, in these movies. He can't even stay on all the time.
I know, right?
But he like turns himself on, and then he shows the the original distress call.
Yeah,
I teared up on that. That was awesome.
That was a cool nod. Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of shows like as a fan where I'm at. It kind of exposes me as a fan. So I like that original trilogy. Obviously, that's the stuff that I connect to.
Yep.
And I think like a lot of people, you have an idea of in your head of like what should happen.
Definitely.
But it's not for you to decide really, because I'm just a guy who's out here. It doesn't really matter in this creative decisions that they make.
Oh, good point.
So, but for other people that maybe this is their trilogy. It's like Luke was that funny old guy that taught Rey, and now she's the one I like a lot. And then
she's just perfect. She's just perfect though. She's cool, but like
no, she's being pulled now in different directions.
Yeah, like finally, like though the whole thing with her parents, like.
All right, so yeah, I don't think that's totally explained yet.
I don't know. I mean, my thoughts are they're trying to show anyone who works hard enough can be a Jedi or whatever. But the thing I was hoping was
she's super powerful.
Yeah,
without training much.
And they did kind of imply that something had happened.
All right, so if you watch The Force Awakens, there's a sequence where like 10 seconds where she has this like vision.
Yeah.
And she sees a bunch of things. So in this movie, they elaborated on the one point, which was when Kylo Ren burned down the Jedi Academy, and they showed like the same stuff, but it was like obviously longer and explained. So there's more in that vision where she sees like her parents leaving, and it looks like a rebel ship of some sort. And there's like a little more, and she's like a little kid. She's like looking up at the sky. So that'll probably be explained in the next one. So I think there's more. I think there's more to the parents thing. And I think they showed you like all the plot in that 10-second like flashback. You just can't make sense of it because it's all jumbled together and stuff.
Yeah.
And you hear Obi-Wan in that thing. So there's something with Obi-Wan connected to this somehow because he says Rey. He says like her name. So I think there's more to be explained with her. And it's hard to judge. Because people are like, oh, Snoke sucked, and like, why'd you kill him? And we don't know anything about him. Like, maybe there's more information to come, and you have to judge this whole thing as a trilogy and not just as
individual movies.
These two movies that we've seen. So, like, a lot of this stuff, I don't want to like get into like they should have done this or that. But, like, my main complaints is like you just destroyed all the characters I liked.
Yeah,
and not even like just kill them. Like Han dying, fine. But like Luke,
that was fine.
You freaking like that's really dark, man.
You know what I mean? They basically turned like like he was the hero I looked up to as one of the heroes I looked up to as a kid, right?
Yeah.
It's like seeing Superman like about to shove his fist through Batman's chest and then stopping.
Well, we did see Batman. We did see Batman trying to stab Superman in the head with a kryptonite spear in that movie.
This is true.
Which I also didn't like either. So maybe you just have like I have like ideas of how characters should act based on things I've seen in the past. So I have like issues when it doesn't go my way, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I did one other big issue. Like, yes. I was really hoping for more of this. So Kylo Ren and Rey, they obviously talk. Oh, by the way, guys, for like the past 20 minutes, spoiler warning. Anyway.
Everybody saw it. This movie made so much money. They saw it.
What got me was like, okay, the thing I was hoping they were to get to from the first movie was Kylo and Rey. They're obviously like, Kylo is dark who keeps thinking maybe he should be light.
Yeah.
And Rey is light who, I don't know, maybe she should be dark. No, well, that's why kind of hint at the thing.
That's why they did the Luke thing. Because it like gives her doubts. Because she was told this guy is like this great legendary dude, and she finds out, oh, this guy's messed up too.
Yeah,
that's why they did that.
Yeah,
like it worked really well for the story they were trying to tell. That's why, like, as a device.
But when she went underneath the island and she went to the dark, and they're like, oh, this is where the dark part lives. I was like, sweet, they can show Rey being tempted by the dark side, and then they can have Rey tempted by dark and Kylo tempted by light, and then the last Jedi is going to be Luke, because they found out that if you're a Sith or a Jedi, they're both bad. You need something in the middle, because obviously neither side really does a good job and doesn't work. Otherwise, everything keeps fighting with itself. They're going to balance everything, and they'll have some new order that's not Jedi. Yay! And then when I saw them fight together against Snoke's people, I'm like, yay! This is what I wanted. They're both on the same side. And then here's the thing that I get from the fights.
Yeah.
When Kylo Ren fights, like when he's fighting most of the time, he's calm, collected. He is fighting he's fighting smart.
Uh-huh.
When he's out of fighting, he goes nuts. He freaks out.
He seems to be always fighting.
Right. Like he wrecks buildings and doors and rooms and stuff. But when he's fighting, he is focused. He is calm. He is in control.
Right.
Rey, on the other hand, she's pretty focused outside of fights and whatnot, right? Yeah. She seems pretty chill. She's calm and collected. When she fights, dude, you see her getting rah! She gets mad. She gets into it. Like she gets worked up during the fights.
Right.
And I was thinking, see, he acts more like a Jedi. She acts more like a rage person. And like, I was really hoping that they'd come together and be able to put something. Maybe there's a chance still.
That might be the next one.
Yeah. Because I was thinking in the third movie, they're going to join together and fight Snoke or something, or and fight the big bad, and they're going to realize doing all the light side stuff is going to make it go crazy. Doing all the dark side stuff is going to make it go crazy.
I think the storyline's messed up because obviously it was like they focused in on one of the three original characters like heavily. So like the first movie was Han. This movie was the Luke movie, right? As like the main side character. So the next one was obviously going to be Leia because she's still alive in the movie, but she passed away in real life, Carrie Fisher. So it's probably going to screw up that movie in some way, I imagine. They're probably going to have Luke be like a ghost, a Force ghost a lot, and come back.
Yeah.
And do a lot of stuff.
No doubt.
So again, it's not like it's really well made. It looks awesome. I mean, I was really entertained by it. It's just not like what I was hoping for specifically. I feel like it kind of certainly hurt Luke's character personally, a personal level. With that whole thing, like you could have done that maybe in a different way. Yeah, just the fact that he's asleep and he's just coming into his room, pulls out his lightsaber. It's weird. It has some overtones to it. You know what I mean? It's like it's weird.
It doesn't fit the character at all.
No, come on, man.
See, I think my main problem with the movie is that it should have built on what came before, passed the torch to everybody, and said what these guys did was great, but the fight continues.
Personally, if I was in control of it, I'd have it set much more into the future.
Yeah, like 100 years.
Yeah, and then like they reference those characters, and they're just like legends and stuff. But I don't know if you'd have to bring them back like this.
Maybe a Force ghost.
I don't know. There's ways to do it, but
they didn't use them.
They did what they did. I mean, look, the things were super successful. I think the only movie that was bigger than this one was the Force Awakens. So they made real well. And
you like this? You like Force Awakens more than Rogue One?
No, I'm saying like financially.
Oh, gotcha.
Box office wise.
The only movie ever?
I don't know about ever, but like I think the opening was like only beaten by Force Awakens on this one, and then you'll be there like the first day for the next movie. Don't lie.
I was there.
Don't lie.
Yeah, I know.
You'll be there. You'll be one of the first people in line.
Well, hey, I didn't see it Thursday night. I saw it Friday.
That's still opening night. That's just the preview night. It doesn't count. You probably would have gone Thursday if you were free.
And had vacation days and could sleep.
See?
Murph.
You got your money.
Oh, they did. They did indeed, sir.
But it felt good to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't know how you felt because we didn't talk at all about this.
No. We were we were waiting to save it for the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been talking about it for the past 4 days, maybe. But no, since the weekend.
Does anyone you know really like it a lot?
I think my friend Matt liked it, but he had a lot of complaints as well. So nobody was head over heels for it. Everyone says, it was a good movie, but it had problems.
But when you're watching it, it's fine. I mean, it didn't fall off a cliff at any point, and you never knew what really was coming next.
Yeah.
There was a point where I felt like, oh no, it's going to be like Empire now. When she was approaching Snoke, or when she went into the throne room.
Yeah.
That was the same, right? Because it was the Emperor, Vader, and Luke together. That was exactly the same thing. But then they put a twist on it.
Yeah, also...
A super twist on it.
I feel like what's funny is you could cut out everything Finn did.
Well, he killed Phasma.
Except for that, everything Finn did except for that part, it would have changed nothing.
He killed Phasma. We don't even know much about her if she really mattered.
A friend of mine read the book and said it matters a lot.
Books don't count.
But the books don't count for the movie.
No, it doesn't count. I shouldn't have to read a book to understand the movie, man.
Exactly, I agree.
It was 2.5 hours long. You had more than enough time to explain everything.
Yeah, I know. But
the Poe story, we rant on that for a minute. That was stupid, man.
The which?
The thing with Poe, we didn't trust the new general.
Yeah.
Why didn't she just tell him what was going on?
Yeah, right. Also, why didn't
stupid.
other ships just try to go to hyperspace and ram the other the big ship?
I'm not even getting that technical into it. I'm just gonna say they showed the characters he didn't know what she was doing, and why didn't she just tell him what we were doing? And he here's another thing. Yeah. Just quick mini rant. Oh, Frel, what was my mini rant? Dang it, this was important. What's it about?
We were talking about Poe. We were talking about Finn. Oh yeah, once again, it shouldn't be called Star Wars. It should be called Star Skirmishes. Because the Resistance has a total of 20 fighters and 1 capital ship. The First Order should be able to crush them so badly. Oh my gosh, we lost 6 bombers. That's our entire bomber fleet.
That's what I'm saying.
Really?
The rebels deserve to lose because they just blow this. They just keep blowing it.
They have nothing. They have no material. They have no ships. They have 1 good pilot.
They're stacking the deck against them, so it's a more triumphant. How did they possibly defeat them? Well, we just saw that, though, man.
How did they possibly defeat them? Because the good guys won in episode 6.
That's what I mean. It's they won then, and now here they are now. It's shambles. So,
they killed Akbar, man.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Someone else told me that he died in the movie.
Yes.
And they didn't make any kind of big deal of it, right?
No, they're just no. Yeah, they blew when Carrie Fisher had her. Sorry, when Princess Leia had her floating through space and not dying moment.
I didn't even notice Akbar died because they didn't make any kind of deal out of it. See, I wouldn't kill any of them. I wouldn't kill Chewie or any of those or the droids. I mean, you're doing the three actors.
I mean, the droids can live. They were in every movie.
Yeah. They killed Akbar, huh? I didn't even know. Yeah, somebody else told me that.
Yep.
I was like, when? Yeah, why would you kill him? What's the point of that?
He was so cool.
He's not gonna matter. He's just what do they get from that? I don't know. Some people complain about Leia using the Force. I have no problem with that.
No, in the book, she became a Jedi. And when Luke went to the dark side,
the extended universe stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't count.
Yeah, and she chopped off Luke's hand when he went to the dark side. See,
I wouldn't like that either, though.
He came back.
Sure, but I wouldn't like that either. I'd probably have just as much of a problem with that as this.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's your prerogative.
Being honest.
That's good. Be honest. That's what we're here for. We're honest with you guys.
I'm just letting you know. I mean, I probably wouldn't like that either.
That's fine. You tell me.
Listen, it's not. It's not reasonable to think he's a perfect person that never makes mistakes in his whole life. I'm not saying that should be the case where he's just like this godly Jesus person. He never screws up. I'm just saying he shouldn't bring it to his nephew's room while he's asleep. pull his lightsaber out in front of him.
Oh, gosh.
I think about using it on him.
John, he's a creepy uncle.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he took out his weapon while he was asleep.
It's very weird, John. It's very weird. Don't do that.
Clearly, don't.
There's other ways to... No, I'm saying they shouldn't have done that. There's other ways to get to the same place.
Yeah.
Maybe do something with the Snoke characters involved in it, maybe, because he's part of the movie.
Not anymore.
The guy looked ridiculous.
Sorry, Andy Serkis.
Looked like a fetus. What was he supposed to be?
I don't know. Sorry, Andy, the circus is closed.
I'm kind of glad he's gone, because, I mean, watching that guy fight would have just been terrible. Like the CGI-looking fetus face.
What happened to his face? It looks like it melted.
I don't know, it looked dumb. It's a Crypt Keeper or something. I don't know. All right, friends. It's probably the angriest we've ever gotten on this show.
I know, right?
I think it is, but I think it might be. But I'll tell you what. I'm probably going to get the Blu-ray. I'm probably going to see it again in the theater, maybe.
Maybe.
Because it's really well made. Looks great. There's a lot of great moments, like I said.
Mm-hmm. Good set pieces.
I cried during it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's just not exactly what I wanted. But maybe that's too much to ask for. I don't know.
But at least, yeah.
Thor was really good. I got no problems with that movie.
I still got to see Thor.
All right, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, right.
Let's wrap this up, man. 2016's ending here.
Yeah.
2017, I'm sorry. I don't know where we are.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I had a really great year. OJ didn't, as we talked about. Sorry, that was last year for me, man.
It's okay. We'll alternate.
I had a very similar situation last year.
Yeah, go figure, right? Weird.
So hopefully, I think next year maybe I'll be all right. 2018.
Can only hope.
I'll tell you what, just kind of thinking back, I know we're way over time here, just want to kind of get through some stuff here, but thinking back in the year, very interesting for me. Early in the year, I took a job I didn't really want to take and had a lot of reservations about it, anxiety about doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But worked out really incredibly well.
Nice. That's good.
Met a lot of great people, and the main purpose you get a job is you get a bunch of cash, and I made a bunch of cash and had some extra money, and I took an awesome trip to LA.
Yeah.
I made some stuff and hung out with my personal hero, Mr. Entrada, which was amazing. And we came back with the show last year. December around this time is when we returned. And you never know what the year holds for the show. We had some stuff I never expected. Like I just mentioned, we had a show with me and Ed in person.
Yeah, dude, that's sick.
Angus Chang in person? Are you kidding me? We had no idea this would ever happen.
I know.
The man who lives in Hong Kong?
Sure, he'll just take a trip to New York, whatever.
We sat next to him and did a show. So I think it was an excellent group of shows. Doing it monthly. So people were a little unhappy with that. But they stuck with us anyway. It's worked out well for me. Like I said, I mostly make the show for me, so I think it's worked out pretty good. Had some goals for this year which I didn't meet. I have Ed's Weatherman footage, which I have not completed the project. I was hoping to finish it by the end of the year. Still working on it. I also wanted to film something and have it completed, something with OJ. But OJ's health issues kind of took precedent.
Yeah, sorry.
But I do have a script, which is kind
cool.
of the beginnings of it, so we'll get that done sooner than later. And the show shall continue on into the 2018.
Mwahaha.
And I just want to wish everyone a happy holidays, man.
Yeah, guys, enjoy.
Happy New Year's. And we'll see you in the new year with a new show. So, OJ, say goodbye to the wonderful people out there.
Thanks, everybody. I love you all. It's been an interesting year. Let's make next year better. I look forward to catching y'all in 2018. Woo!
This has been a production of StayBallsy.com, the best in free and optional entertainment. Have a pleasant evening, and remember, stay ballsy. Don't take any shit from anyone.